try to shoot the drummer, but I missed and shot him in the ear. Oh no, oh. I tried to shoot the drummer, but I missed and shot him in the ear. Oh no, oh. Yeah, all around in my hometown, they're trying to track me down. Yeah, they say they couldn't stand on the slope safely. I just climbed right up. Nobody stopped me. Nobody chased me. Nobody cared that I carried a weapon. Aim for the head, but he turned at the last second. Oh, now, I tried to shoot the gunner, but I missed and shot him in the air.
I wanna be rich, but not self-rich. Know too much, get left in the ditch. CIA scratches, its clicks getting itch. Yeah, I wanna be rich, but not self-rich. I wanna be rich, but not self-rich. Wiki leaking, now you're thrown into a ditch. You wish the simulation had glitch. You wanna be rich, but not self-rich. I wanna be rich, but not self-rich. Know too much, get left in the ditch. CIA scratches, its clicks getting itch. Yeah, I wanna be rich, but not self-rich. I wanna be rich, but not self-rich. Wiki leaking, now you're thrown into a ditch. You wish the simulation had glitch. You wanna be rich, but not self-rich. I wanna be rich, but not self-rich. Wiki leaking out, you dove into a ditch. You wish the simulation had a glitch. You wanna be rich, but not self-rich. I wanna be rich, but not self-rich.
Can you save us, Britney Spears? Can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
Here comes Santa. Here comes the world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunnilinguist good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically good guys. Conspiracies, sex, cults, Jamaicans, it's okay to change your thinking. Good guys, good guys, good guys, good guys. The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunnilinguist good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically good guys. Conspiracy, sex, cults, Jamaicans, it's okay to change your thinking. Good guys, good guys, good guys, good guys.
Big up yourselves. Happy Friday night live. This is the Secret Society of Good Guys. Make sure you hit whatever edition thumbs up thing. It feels like weird to always say the like and subscribe now because not everybody watches us on YouTube.
They should.
so-
Well, yeah, why the hell not?
what
What's
the
the problem?
well, I
What
think
are you
X is
doing with your
becoming a bigger
lives?
platform. And I just don't like restream because we can't pull their comments the same. Other like StreamYard, you can pull X comments, can't you, Thomas?
You can.
And you can pull Rumble comments, right?
You can. You can do both. And Rumble rants and Super Chats, I believe, both come through StreamYard.
Really though? Like,
Huh.
really?
All right. Well, I guess this is
They all suck, though. Just for the record, every single streaming service sucks.
Yeah.
you know, StreamYard is like not so much more expensive, but probably like 50% more expensive.
Bro, they went from like literally my plan was like $13 a month, and now the plan's like it's like over $1,000 a year now. It's insane.
It's crazy. So I was like, okay, well, I'm into it, but we're just gonna have to figure out something different. But anyways, hey, you guys, thank you for joining us early. Make sure you do hit the thumbs up or like and follow everyone on the stage always. Good guys, how are you?
Dandy. Just dandy. Just great. I love it.
We're winning.
We're winning.
We're winning. I think the good guys are doing a good job because the world hasn't ended yet, and it could have. We were on the brink for a while, but we came together and we fixed a few things.
We rallied. Yep.
I don't think the world will ever end. There's theories that it will, but I don't believe that's the case. I mean, for us, it will, like each and every single individual, but the world, the planet Earth, no.
Do you think there was a beginning?
Yes.
So a beginning, but no end?
No end. It just goes.
It's the Ouroboros.
It's the constant. That's the constant. We're not the constant. Our energy is probably the constant. But these things that we're in, not the constant. Trash.
Trash.
Speak for yourself.
Trash. No, we are trash.
Trash.
Trash. It is. Technically, it goes in the dirt with everything else, the trash, and it goes back and
it's organic, yeah.
Yeah, it's trash. Basura.
I don't bury my trash in the dirt. I actually suggest against that. That's probably
I
bad.
think one man's trash, another man's treasure.
Treasure. There you go. I love that.
Yeah.
We all go back into it. Yeah.
I just gotta
Skull
say
and
that
bones.
Theme song goes so hard. I'm sorry, but it really does.
It's got that energy. I like it.
It does.
It is exciting.
Thank you for singing that intro for us, Layla. That's what everyone says.
What?
That you sang the intro.
She's doing her Cardi B.
Yeah. The world we used to think we knew.
Trash.
Constantly yeah. Fucking trash. You're on notice. So, one thing that I did think was funny that I'll bring up right away. What do you guys feel about like all the Gaza Strip talk this week?
I find it very interesting, and I find that a lot of people are not hearing and seeing the whole thing from beginning to end, like when they were sitting versus when they were standing, the faces, the information, and how America is taking over Gaza for the people who are there already. So I feel like he's going to create a beautiful place for both people, and things are going to change there. That's the timeline I see, and I'm hoping for. People are thinking that he wants to destroy Palestinians. I don't think that's the case. He's not a person who wants to kill civilians. He's not that type of president. He never was. He never stood for that. But he will kill a fucking terrorist, which I like. Bomb the shit out of them.
Well, I like how he said that he's not even going to bring the military. He's like, no, we got this. Like, it's not even going to require
It's
that.
an American territory. And when I don't think Netanyahu was even aware that Trump was going to say that, because prior to that whole, I guess, clip or scenario, when they sat in the White House on chairs versus the podium, like Netanyahu was all happy and like full of his ego, and like you could see the difference and shift of energy versus when they both sat on the podium.
He's so fucking gross, dude.
I can't.
Like, say what you will about whatever politician, but out of like politicians wise, I feel like even the sound of his voice does something like it makes me so yucky. He is yucky. He's a yucky mug.
The ick.
He gives me the total ick. Like ugh.
He gives me like demon, like
it's giving me like demon 18th century. It's giving me like Ghostbusters coming from the basement voice. Like it's such a creepy fucking like.
It really is, no joke.
and he's twisted. He has like a connection to his face to twisted words like Bill Gates when it's like, and blood and gore. He's like smiling to himself like a fucking creep.
Like, he's thinking back to his childhood, like how mom used to make, probably.
Ugh, yeah. But I feel like Netanyahu, even the name. But every time, honestly, we were talking about beforehand, like some of those weird things that always go with other thoughts in your brain and you don't know why. Every time Bibi Netanyahu that I say that name, I go, Yahoo! In my head.
Does he have a real name?
That's his name. That's his real name, isn't it?
No, his real name is Ben Zion Melekowski. He's Polish. His family's Polish. Okay, so his name is Benzion Milakowski. Later, Netanyahu was born in Warsaw and partitioned Poland, was under Russia control to Sarah Lurie, and writer and Zionist activist Nathan Kowski. Nathan was a rabbi who toured Europe and the United States, making speeches supporting Zionism.
BB.
I'm just thankful that now whenever I hear that name, I just see Kanye with his like weird mask, and, like the net and the Yahoo, the Yoo-hoo. It's I think that out of anything he's done in my lifetime, that probably is the peak one, because it takes usually what's horrible news for someone and it makes it into something that you can kind of like smile at.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It did seem, there's a lot of stuff that is involved in our politics or world affairs or whatever that is just like a constant thing. One of these things I would say is abortion. Like it always comes up and it always like gets in the way of all these, not that abortion's not an important thing, but it's like we can never get past it sometimes. We can never move on to other like issues because it's like, oh, these politicians, they're going to stop it here. They're going to talk about this thing. Here we go with this. And it feels like with it getting hit back to the States, it's a conversation now that's off the table. We don't have to fucking worry about it all the time. Worry about your own state and what they're doing with it. We don't have to talk about it. In a weird way, that same kind of energy is what I feel with Israel. That I'm like, whatever's going on with it right now, it can't be used as an excuse all the time for us to constantly send troops and send money to something in the surrounding area all the time so we can protect this place because this has to be a key thing. And now it has to be like, we have to talk about it all the time. And there has to be, oh, look at these terrorist events that happen so we can ebb and flow the sway of things between the things. Like, I just feel like I'm just glad that whatever, it doesn't necessarily have to be the like end all be all where it's like, nope, we're gonna World War III. Let's get into this every fucking 5 seconds.
I'm just glad.
Abbie hates that opinion. She's like, I'm not even gonna sit for this.
I'm out.
I'm just glad that something's changing there. I'm tired of seeing like people getting killed, especially forget October 7th. I don't even know if that's a psyop or not. I don't know. Maybe all of Palestine is a fucking psyop to begin with. I don't know. But from what I've seen and the shit that I've seen and the babies and the so many children, and this is not nothing against Jewish people because this has nothing to do with Judaism. It has everything to do with fucking Zionism. So I'm not trying to make it a religious thing, but the mentality of Zionists, when you're a child being born in that state as an Israeli, you're being conditioned so fucking hardcore. Like it's unprogrammable. Like you can't unprogram people. Like it's very rare to unprogram these like conditioned, like you talk about terrorism and these terrorists and how they're brainwashed. It's the same level. They use the same tactics with the Islamic community, with the hadiths, how they use the Talmud in Zionism. They use the same fucking tactics. They drill it into these kids' heads that they're these, oh, you're going to be forgiven for everything. You're God's chosen. If you do this, you're going to have 72 virgins up in heaven. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit.
I think they're down to just like 12 virgins each.
Oh,
now.
12. Oh, How nice.
They're running out of
One's too
virgins,
much.
yeah.
One's too much.
Who's building the
Sorry, no
roads?
offense.
Who's building the roads up there? The real job's in being one of the virgins.
Oh, God.
And you can only do it once.
Once.
But you see,
Well, not today, no.
I think
my
that there's a really good reason why the U.S. is never going to back out of Israel, and no matter which of the different options that you get, they're always going to be supporting sending more and more money. And aside from like the ethics and the politics and the religion and all of like that stuff, there's a very practical reason, and it's like the main way that we can go and test out our cool explodey stuff, right? Like all the things that our military is engineering. We can't, like, you can only test it so much in the middle of the desert against sandbags, right? And like holograms and stuff. But at a certain point, you need to see how certain things react to like organic material, so to speak, right? And that's just an ongoing sort of beta test program, right? They've got plenty of beta testers out there. And if you lose one once in a while, it's kind of par for the course.
Do you need that stuff anymore?
elsewhere.
They can't just type it into the computer
Oh,
and be
they
like,
can,
here's a
but-
simulation of what it's going to
but you
do with
run that
this amount of force.
simulation, and then you're like, okay, now before we place this order for, you know, $300 million worth of this thing, here's what the simulation says. And I guarantee you there's like a 4-star out there or somebody at that kind of level. And they're like, let's just do like one test. Let's get one, you know, like field test to make sure that this stuff does what it's supposed to do, because it's that important. And I feel that if the world needs to have one place that acts as that testing ground, like that would make all the sense in the world. That would explain why send all this money, because essentially we're just sending our money to test our stuff, right?
Yeah.
What about the center of Australia?
I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with
What
that.
about the center of Australia?
Could we move Israel
I'm
to the
just
middle
saying
of
the center of
and see-
Australia looks like it's already been hit with a nuke.
Something, yeah. There's some weird shit happening there.
Is it stupid to
I've
suggest
Google Maps
like
that, not Google Maps. Google
could there
Earth
be an
that.
Israel 2? Like a Israel B, like a second option, that if you're looking for refuge and a place that fully embraces your
Israel.
specific- yeah, but like like right outside Brisbane, Brisrael.
Jizreal, like right in
Jizreal.
the center of Australia. And it can just be like an extra.
It just kind of pools up in the middle there.
I don't
I
get
guess the center of Florida kind of is that, right? I mean, South Florida, we got a little bit of like
Well, it's
another
swampy.
option. It's another
It's all-
option.
you can have anything grow in there.
Why out of all places they picked that place? I really want to know. Forget the fucking
It's the
conditioning.
underground. It's
There's
the
something.
underground.
It's not the religious aspect, because religion is all a government thing. Do you really think the government will allow you to have some truth to connect you to God? Really, people? Come on. Like that religion for me is a total psyop. Sorry, guys. I'm just saying God is real. I'm not saying it's not real, but there's something deeper to Israel that we are not aware of. There's something there. I don't know what, but there's something there.
Well, and a coastline. Gaza's a coastline. So think of just like
The ports.
think of if you were to take that much coastline of Florida or Italy and how much it might be worth. And then everything like trade, it's almost like the Caspian Sea in a way. It's like if you can get through there, then you can trade with all these other things.
Yeah.
But we don't see the same kind of conflict happening in Tunisia and Sicily, right? Which would also be historically one of those spots that I think what like to credit what Layla was saying, like there's something to it that we don't really understand. It does seem very oddly coincidental that all of the biblical stories do take place in this exact spot that's still going on right now. So I don't know if you can separate all of the want to be there with just feeling like it's been part of history for 2 millennia and like no one's ready to let that go yet, or there's legitimately something there.
Yeah. Well, when you think about it, and like the whole religion is like a government control, I think it's literally tied to the Roman Empire, and we're still living in modern day Roman Empire, but we're not totally fucking aware of it. Like if you look at the Vatican, they wear yarmulkes. The whole, I think I saw, what was it, Jordan? I forgot what was his name. No, Maxwell or something like Jordan Maxwell.
Jordan Maxwell sounds right.
Yeah. He was talking about how that whole yarmulke thing was because of the Roman Empire, and they made the Jews start wearing that as to, I guess, bow down to the Roman Empire and just, let them be. It's like, we'll wear this, just fucking let us be. That's what he's talking about, but it kind of makes sense. Why would they wear that same fucking thing?
Do you think there's a Stargate there?
Kind of a crappy place to put a Stargate, if I'm being honest.
But what about if we're not building the Stargate? What about if the Stargate's more of something that's like way older than us?
Like we don't have an option. We can't move it
Yeah,
somewhere
like
more convenient.
almost like the Vril, or like an ancient, where people get that idea where they talk about an ancient supercomputer where it's like been here forever, just trying to get back into our hands again, and then we destroy it and then it gets back into our hands.
Maybe if it's, I would say if it's like non-functional, like the legitimate Stargate movie where the only reason it's in a certain spot is because someone broke it a long time ago and we don't know how to fix it, and it's almost like a crime scene. Like, don't touch it until you know what the hell is going on here, because I feel that if there was a functioning Stargate, you would figure out a way that you could move it.
Mm-hmm. Well, if I had like technology that was like, I don't want anyone to know about, I'd put it in the crappiest place on earth, honestly.
Jordan.
What up, donut?
But maybe it wasn't always that way. You know how, like, think of what the pyramids maybe were before they atomic bombed them and then rewrote our history in the 1800s.
I think the pyramids, low-key,
it's all right there. So it's the same way, like, I kind of think, like, there's stuff going on in Florida that attaches to stuff in Cuba, that attaches to stuff in Mexico. I think, why wouldn't stuff exist like that around that area? And they almost have their own World Trade Center, their own Gulf of America.
I don't know. For some reason, I found evidence, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I feel like all of that was placed there in replica of what was here. And they took what was here and just made copies of that over there to distract us from here. Because
I've heard
this
that.
is what they really want.
America,
old
right?
world.
Yeah. So this is what they really want. America.
So in that way, like they say in New York and in Florida, there's more Jews than there are in Israel.
Yeah. I know for a fact.
I've heard some really interesting theories on this too, because there's one of the cool ones that came from that Holy Blood, Holy Grail, and like the Da Vinci Code crap. But a lot of people got hip to, I think it was Roslyn Chapel, that has corn etched into some of the motifs everywhere, and that there were like corn came from the Americas.
Corn, the Anubis, corn, the ibis is native to Florida. All these things are native to Florida. And then another thing, gopher wood.
Well, and there's so many theories about, well, the Scandinavians came here in 1100 and then they, went back, and that spread eventually the stories, or that the Chinese came here in like the early 1400s or something. But another option that explains all that is it started here and then it all found its way everywhere else. And that's why you see corn there. It wasn't that an explorer came all the way to the New America and then brought that information back. Like, that information started in America and it like spread from there. That's the theory, at least.
From your mic or from the speaker? Are you on your mic?
I think I'm on my mic.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
I thought he
It
sounded
sounded
fine.
a little echo. Okay,
think, there's the ISIS towers, if you want to talk about Egypt area, all in Arizona, and the artifacts that have been found out there. But I just think the ark is made of gopher wood in the Bible. That's a native to Florida. The ibis is the first bird to come back after a hurricane and the last bird to leave here during a hurricane. It's why it's the Miami hurricane bird. And corn doesn't grow in Egypt at all. So
didn't we feed one on our meetup?
Yeah, you totally did. And then also Rome, everything they show us with the pillars. If you've ever been to DC, like, what the fuck? Like, every time I'm there, you guys, like, the same kind of, like, this is like when I'm in the Rockies, I'm like, this is wild. Like my
Yeah.
brain is trying to comprehend it. That's how in DC, looking at those buildings, I'm like, this just ain't right. Like
Yeah, I
something is
felt
crazy about
I
this.
I remember being there as a kid, like, I think I was maybe, like, 14 years old, and I just felt like I was in a different world. Like, I know I traveled there, but, like, being in there, I did not feel like I was in Earth. It was weird. I was just like, "This is so weird." Like, seeing all those big buildings and structures, I'm like, "This is unreal." I couldn't fathom it as a kid, but
The
now
cra
seeing it
the craziest part to me about DC, for anyone that hasn't been there, is that when you actually see the White House and you look around, it's like, I wouldn't wanna live here. This is a horrible place to live. Right in the middle of
Especially
there's like bars across the street and just like people wandering around. It's not in a nice area. I mean, downtown DC is not the bad part, right? It's not Baltimore, but I wouldn't want to live there. If you were
it's pretty
president, would you
frightening.
rather live at Mar-a-Lago or in DC in the
Mar-a-Lago,
White
hands
House?
down.
Mar-a-Lago is such a great
Mar-a-Lago.
residence. Like, and if you, this is another thing I'll say. I don't know if you've ever been to the street or like that Mar-a-Lago's on, like once you cross the little bridge, there's almost like a moat, like a little river way, but it's a personal bridge and you go over, but there's all these houses on the island over there. And if you see them, you guys, the same feeling of DC, that same, what the fuck? That's how you'll feel about all the stuff on that drive.
Really?
Yeah, it's wild.
Hmm.
It's wild. It feels like they don't feel like residents. Like, it
Yo,
feels like this whole thing could be offices
Chaney,
and political shit.
you know what we need to do? We need to go get a hotel room around that area and just go to Mar-a-Lago and, like, knock on the door and be like, "Can we please meet President Trump? We're doing a podcast," and, like, just fucking go up there and, like, go live and just
Layla, you know what you
see what
could
the fuck
do?
happens. What?
You could actually apply for your press credentials, and you can
Right?
sit now in the White House in the press room, and they're having, like, a few rotating chairs that they kicked the,
Don't
like,
give me ideas.
mainstream dirt media out, and now they have rotating chairs so everyone can kinda go in and sit with the press secretary or the president if he does a talk or anything in front of the podium, but you get preference for however amount of time.
No way.
Yeah, you can get press credentials to the White House.
Oh, shit. Okay. Let's look into that.
We send Layla to be
Let's
like,
look into that.
President Trump, do you think this should be on notice? Like,
Yeah, I would, like, literally talk to him about schmack schmeens and, like, come on, like, Trump, please, like, listen, this is what's happening. Like, wake up. Don't listen to these motherfuckers. Listen to the people because the people actually care. Don't listen to these motherfucking hungry, money hungry assholes. Like,
what about this idea? What about if you call the White House right now and ask how you apply?
oh shit, what's the number?
I like it.
Hold
Can
on.
I'm gonna ask him just to speak to President Trump.
Hold on. I'll tell you what the number is. What is the
I think you should legitimately ask how you can apply to get the press credentials.
Yeah. Okay.
what's the phone?
Should I do it because I'm a
it's-
little like slurry with my
You-
words?
You should do it because you're the one that wants press
Too
credentials.
much tequila.
This is like getting your DMV photo taken like while you're a little bit stoned, just so like you look the same.
I'm gonna say, hey.
What
by
was the
way,
Q post that it's on? The phone number.
Oh, remember?
Shit.
I know I have it pinned on my. It's pinned on my IG. Hold on. Hold up. I got you right now.
Do we pull it up on screen?
Oh, 202. Can you take this down? 202 456 1414. Oh, I want to speak to him.
Oh,
It's too late.
here I found it too, and I'll pull up the
Can you patch it into the stream?
I'm gonna do it like this, like this on
Okay.
speaker.
Okay.
But I
202
why isn't
202.
This number has been disconnected.
I can't see it. 45. Oh my god, I need glasses. 456 1414. Oh my god. My heart's racing. Okay, what am I saying?
Hold on. I'll put you up big when you're
You want to know how to get official press credentials?
Okay. Hi.
You want
first off, I would like to say thank God Trump is in office. Secondly, I would like to know, how do I get press credentials just so I can like sit in front of Donald Trump and like actually ask him a question? Okay, cool. That's what I'm gonna do.
Oh, I thought you were on.
No. Yeah,
Sorry,
was a good
Abby.
test
I'll
run.
move that
Ready?
out of
That
your
was a
way.
Are you
great
guys
test
ready? I was practicing. Watch me freeze. Watch me like. Okay, I'm gonna do it. Oh my God. Okay. Love you, Daddy.
For quality and training purposes, this call may be monitored but will not be recorded.
No White House.
Hi. How are you today, by the way?
I'm doing well. Can I help you?
Yeah, I was wondering, how can I get press credentials to actually meet Donald Trump? If you have any information on that for me.
You trying to meet Donald Trump? You said, man.
Well, no, I'm a big fan and I kind of want to meet him and like ask him like a few questions from an immigrant who is now a citizen, and I'm happy that he's president.
Okay. You need to send a letter to the White House, requesting to meet with him or
Okay.
speak with him.
Okay.
Just send a letter to the White House, explain everything, and then just wait for a response.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and tell Daddy
Okay.
that I freaking love him. Thank you.
No problem. Have a good day.
All right. Bye.
Good work, Layla. Good fucking
Yes!
job. You held it together. Like you did a good job.
Look,
I
you
feel
see
like we
tequila?
didn't get accurate information.
No, we didn't.
We did
I
not
just
get
have
any
to-
information
no.
that we needed,
What
but
I heard was he was like, "Hey, write the message and put it in a bottle and throw it in the Potomac, and then
wait."
eventually
Well,
we'll
like
get
a
back
bingo,
to you."
like a bingo ball thing, like to have you in like a. All right, next, I-30, I-47. I had to throw 47 in there.
There is an application process and a whole different number to apply for this. I'm positive of it.
I did it. Yes. Oh my God.
yeah, we just did that on the show and we're assholes because of this. And now I have to pull it up.
Well,
I'm
what's
like,
that number actually for? I
here,
guess
I'll show you.
it's like a
That's what I
catch-all
was-
number.
That's what I was getting.
Pull it up, Chaney. Let him know, like Daddy does all the time. But
Is that
Q,
the
baby.
number?
Put it-
Yeah.
Q, baby.
Did
Yeah.
we just talk to Q directly? Was that guy Q?
No,
Q
that was the
posted
White
that.
House. Q posted that way back when, but it was like whatever. I don't remember why we posted. I don't remember why we started to call. Was it the day Diddy got arrested?
No, we just decided to call because we wanted to
somebody
like
died?
pick fun at
It's,
Kamala
no,
and
it's like
Biden.
Kamala, and she was just like, "Is Donald
we-
Trump there?"
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
It's
but I
like,
know, but
You called because you
She's the
called on your
president.
own.
yeah, because
Chaney,
the
and they
reason
just said,
that
White
post
House.
came up, I was doing Q digs anyway, and so it came up on a Q post, and I was like, "What's this number again?" And I hit it, and then I was like, "White House," and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I was retelling Layla the story on air, but I feel like it was attached to something. That's why I even ended up there this past September. Anyways, we don't have to. Maybe somebody in our audience will know, or we'll go back and tag it and find that episode. The White House calls.
We'll get there.
We'll do it again.
We'll find it.
I'll eventually get Daddy on the phone. Watch. I'm gonna get him on
I'll
the
be
phone.
like, these girls.
Yeah.
I think I found the right link. I'll post a link just so you've got it. But I'm pretty sure this is it. And then
I'm gonna
there's a
pull
way that
back.
you can request an interview, or you can just request make a media inquiry. And they have a whole list of the pre-approved media outlets that they already know about, and then you can select other and then just put like I
Okay.
guess whatever you want to put.
Next episode, you know what I'm gonna do? And we're gonna do it. Okay. I'm gonna call again, and this time I'm gonna be like, you know what? I called last week around this time, and you told me to send a letter to the White House. But I actually think if I call every week and like keep asking every week to ask to speak to Donald Trump, you'll eventually put me through. So if you could pass the message that the Secret Society of Good Guys is wanting to do a 5-minute interview with you, we love you for life. And that's it.
It might be worth sending an actual letter in, so that if they do ask, you can be like, matter of fact, I did. You know,
Yeah.
and you can even
Oh,
have
nice.
send a receipt and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm calling to
like
check
that.
on the status of my application. I did send a letter in.
I'm telling you, we're gonna
Yeah,
get Donald
you'd be
Trump
like,
on our show.
I sent a certified letter to
here.
the White House. I was just calling to check the status of it.
Seriously, I see you got it. I saw you got it on last Thursday. It says it right here.
Y'all, I'm gonna be real. That's what I had to do with the IRS. I had to
Ooh.
send them a certified letter because I'm like, we're not
Smart.
gonna play. Like, we're not playing this game.
If it's actually important, if it has to do with your life, then I would say always send a certified.
Certify it. Certified letter. Biop. Biop.
I'm telling you, you heard it right now. You heard it right now. Donald Trump will be on the Secret Society of Good Guys for at the most
Or
5 minutes.
I think we have a better shot for real at getting you White House press credentials.
Really?
Well,
Yeah.
it's a step towards that, yeah.
I will do it. If I can like be in his presence for like 5 minutes, I could die a happy woman. I really
Well, Lodge 1202 News
not because
Division
he's my
coming
god
soon.
or anything.
But
But
period.
as an immigrant, I love what I see, what he's doing for this country. From a communist regime that my family came from, I love what he's doing for this country. So yeah, America first, bitches. Y'all can protest all you want. I'm an immigrant and I'm saying go Trump.
There
Get
was
him
a
outta here.
protest in Tampa
Bye.
yesterday, I think, or the day before yesterday, about everything. I guess that's the problem now too. That anyone that wants to protest, they just have so many things to protest about. Like they'll be getting ready. They've already made the signs, and then they read the newspaper that morning, and they're like, "No, I'm angry about these 10 other new things. Well, I got to make new signs." And
I think they have an
probably so
accordion
hard.
of signs just ready and lined up A to Z.
Right.
Like, whoa, what am I
They
protesting
do it
today?
like
Pull
they
it
just
out.
flip down a corner and then they're
It's like
"And
shopping for a
this."
poster at a Hot Topic or something, or Spencer's.
Yeah, it's like a Rolodex of angry. Like, we're just mad and drama.
Am I legal? Yeah, I'm a fucking citizen, baby. What are you talking about?
Or like the people that sit there, the panhandlers, and you notice, I noticed it when I lived in San Diego, that they would use the same sign
wasn't
and just
illegal.
other people taking a shift.
Oh man, this is so legit. There was a couple, I think it was like 3 or 4 people in Orlando that were, and the reason I know about this is because right after I was getting home from Disney, the exact exit that I would have to take to get home, there was these panhandlers there, and they got caught at one point. They were doing it forever because one of them picked like the other guy up in like a BMW and like drove off, and then they actually had the cops tailing them. It was like a multi-year investigation, but it turned out they were making somewhere around like 400 grand between the 3 of them. And they were living like they had houses, like they were not homeless, but they just played this role, and they just owned this one little territory, this one little underpass out of the entire city, and they were like turned it into a very successful career.
Well, that's I'm telling you, this person had this sign, and it was so obvious because it had a fold in the cardboard at a weird angle, and it said, and it was written in a slant, homeless veteran, please help. And then I saw the same sign like for days with different people, and I was like, they just take shifts. That's pretty fucking shady.
Well, for real, it's like actual territory, and if you give up that territory, someone else moves in, and there are definitely areas in certain towns where cars just stack up. Just poor infrastructure, city planning usually means that that's the spot to go and do panhandling.
Like hoeing, you have your own corner.
Yeah.
The Wire.
Yeah, you get a corner. Drug dealing,
that's my
panhandling, hoeing. It is. It becomes turf.
Yeah,
I prefer
Washington
buskers.
Heights.
If you're gonna panhandle, you should busk.
Washington Heights. I lived there for a little bit in New York City, and anybody who knows Washington Heights knows everybody had their corner, their turf, their territory, their block. Like, you don't sell on that block. You don't mess with anyone's territory, or you're gonna have like full-on brawls and beef. Like, you
I
can't.
mean, I've seen the videos of like the Asian guys trying to play violin on like the wrong subway stop, and they just get jumped because they were playing violin and it wasn't their turf.
Yep, almost like hookers.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Oh my god.
I was reading comments. I didn't hear that part.
Well, even that, but if I was gonna be a panhandler, I'd want to do it like Pier
Chaney.
39 on the Embarcadero in San Francisco. Those motherfuckers, like
It's
one guy
cute.
just had a sign, "We'll move for change," and he had like a green mohawk, and you throw money in his little box, and he was like in his punk rock voice, "Boo!" And he made so much money. He lost his voice by the end of the day, but shit, I would totally panhandle in San Francisco.
Or those people that just like paint themselves silver and then they're like,
Yeah, the human statue or the robot. Yeah.
You would die in the middle of like a Florida intersection, painted gold, just like
yeah, you would
standing
literally
there.
suffocate.
Dude, I've
You
seen
couldn't
some
breathe.
terrible panhandlers in New York City, though, that would go out of their way to drug children to sleep, and they'll sit there for hours. And like, I wasn't aware of this, but I used to work in Columbus Circle, and I always used to see this lady every fucking day. And every fucking day, I gave this bitch $5. And so one day, I'm like, I've passed this lady for almost a year and a half, and I've never seen this child a fucking wake. It could be any time of the fucking day, and it's always sleeping. And I'm like, I am not going to give her any more money. As soon as I said that, I think not 2 weeks passed. They had a whole documentary on some news station. I think it was Channel 7 or something like that. I don't remember. But a whole documentary, an investigation on all these women drugging their children so they're not awake, so they can like panhandle and fucking make money so people can give them sympathy.
I
Like,
saw a lady
OD.
in the middle of winter with her baby, like, and it was a little baby, it was in a diaper with no clothes on. It was just in her diaper, and then she was panhandling like that. Like, I need money for gas. And I was like, bitch, fucking, I know you have clothes for that baby. Like,
Well, that's
you're
the
gonna
other
expose your
thing
baby to
too,
the
that
elements like
it's
that?
like they get a puppy or something, so that then you'll give more money.
Yeah.
I
Like,
would prefer that. I mean, if you got a puppy, and it looks like you're taking care of it, although I remember when I think I was in Italy in the early 2000s, and as you were going through customs, they were literally warning us. I guess it was military related, but like they were warning us, and this is going to sound like culturally insensitive maybe, but I swear to God, they were saying that be careful on the subways because like a gypsy might throw their baby at you, and most people's instinct is to catch the baby, and when you catch the baby, they pickpocket you or they like mug you or they do something horrible to you, and then they take the baby back, right? But this was happening frequent enough to people that were just tourists, I guess, or like military, that they actually just made this part of their speech, like as you were landing. Oh, and by the way, it blew my mind to even hear that said out
It
loud.
reminds me of TikTok, that lady, attenzione, pickpocket from Italy. There was a whole viral, like she went viral on TikTok because she would point out all the gypsies that were pickpocketing. Like she'd sit on the corner like a tourist and she just watch them and she'd see them like start
They're
pickpocketing.
good. They're
Oh,
real
dude.
good.
Oh, in Italy, they're so bad. They're
I
so
worked
bad.
next door to gypsies once.
Oh, yeah?
At a time it was just an interesting time in my life, and they had like I think they read fortunes next door. Honestly, I think that's what they did.
I believe that.
But this
believe
lady
that.
would come in, and she was like the grandma of the gypsy family, and it was on Melrose, so there was like a whole bunch of like places real close together, and the back parking lot was next to each other, and she would just walk in our restaurant, and whatever she'd be like, I need some spaghetti for the baby. Like she always needed full things. I need a gallon of milk for the baby. Like she just took everything from our fridge all the time, but the Italians that I worked for let her do it. Like whatever was the deal between them, and they were like, I would tell you,
Drug
Mafia
dealers.
guys. Like whatever the deal was, they let the gypsy
They're
like
probably
could just
she's
have
gonna give you
whatever.
the UI. If not,
Drug
But she
dealers
always had
or
to say
feeding
it's for the
human
baby.
or feeding human to the populace and pass it off as pork chops.
She was raising babies. She was telling you in that she needs milk to feed the baby that then goes back into the restaurant.
To feed the baby. Anyway, it was just so crazy. Gypsies, real life. I think they
Yeah.
read fortunes is the craziest part that I'm like, is this real?
A lot
Yeah.
of gypsies are into magic too, and black magic and all that, and voodoo dolls and the Santeria, whatever you want to call it, the different
Because
terms.
it's one of the few cultures that actually still favors like the oracle tales, right? Like
Yep.
spoken word tales, and not writing everything down and creating monuments. It's like a the last remaining nomadic sort of tribe in a way that has
I
a
low
name.
key
at
love
least.
them. Low key, I fucking love them. I love their music.
As long as they're not throwing their babies at me or stealing from me or putting a curse on me, yeah, they're pretty cool.
They're just happy. All of them are just fucking happy. They're just dancing. They're just fucking living life. You know, most of them, like in Macedonia, when I've met them, I mean, they all seem happy, living in nothing. You know.
Do you think that carnies were originally gypsies?
Who?
I could see that.
Carnies.
Carney Wilson.
Like carnival carnies, like the
I
people
know.
that travel.
Yeah, because they're travelers. You know.
Well, like that Cirque du Soleil thing does seem very gypsy, doesn't
And
it?
I think their origin is Indian. So they spread from India to like Europe, and from there to Romania. It turned into like, you know, Greece and into Romania, and from Romania to Europe, from Europe to fucking wherever. And it just expanded.
do you think they were like kicked maybe out of Egypt?
Mm,
Or they just have Gyp in their name?
it's mainly their root is Indian,
Interesting.
from India. From my understanding, through their blood DNA, whatever, their root is Indian. Yeah.
Somebody said carnies are gypsies, yeah, and but not
Like
I probably traditionally
American
not
gypsies.
anymore. Like every carny I've seen lately is like Hispanic.
Good point.
Well, a lot of their teachings and stuff and like, you know, woo-woo stuff is similar to the Indian culture. It's very interesting, besides praying to like Buddha or whatever. But yeah,
I would totally be a carny. That's like my dream job, sort of. Like a fantasy job.
That
I
doesn't
low-key
shock me.
feel like I have gypsy
What?
soul.
That doesn't shock me.
It doesn't shock you?
What would you do as a carny? Like what? Like full fantasy, lean in, like keep going.
I want to
with it.
run one of the little game booths. That's a scam.
Like what game booth?
Either the fish, because the fish isn't quite a scam, or like
Oh, those poor fish.
Yeah, so you just have to raise fish too.
yeah, why not?
Just
know,
ping
maybe
pong
just the
balls
balloon
and
popping one.
fishes.
Maybe
Just
the
ping
balloons.
pong or like
I'll sit there
gun
and
or
blow
dart.
balloons. Darts.
Dart. Okay. You're going full like little tiny carny.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. You're a part of the family, so you gotta like travel and do the whole thing and set up and be part of the lifestyle.
I thought running the fun house would be the easiest. Like you don't even have to lock anyone into their thing.
You don't have to put a puke
run
either.
a lever. You don't have to. You just are
Yeah,
like
but there's
take
the
it.
All the
setup
big
and
rides, they're
pull
constantly
down.
cleaning up vomit.
The setup and pull down has to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if someone gets hurt on your ride, like let's say half your ride falls apart, it's not really the worst. Like you're just the field goal kicker in the real grand scheme of things.
I like the game one. The game one's really good because you can totally play into like people's insecurities, right? Like, you know, especially if it's competitive or if they've got like a girl with them, it's like, oh, you're not going to try and win the big teddy bear guy. Oh, big guy you are. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'd be a tarot reader.
I would love to like
reader.
do that.
It seems
That's
like
what-
so much energy though all day at the fair.
That's
The-
what I'd
the
do. I'd
heat
be
would
the
be
Step
witch.
right up. Step right up.
the
Do you want
barker.
your palm read?
Well,
Do you
that's what
want
you're
a tarot
doing if you're at
reading?
one of those little games. You're like talking shit to people to try to get them to come by and play your little game.
I like the guys
I
who
like
just
those
guess
people.
everyone's weight. It's like every single person would walk by. Like, you ma'am.
You give free guesses. You guess age and weight. That is so funny. People are like, I look good for my age. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go.
I do.
And you just you guess up for everyone. That is so funny. That would be the funniest thing. I know it's like somewhere. Did the circus and the carnival, were they once the same thing? Or they always been separate things?
I don't know. They seem very similar. Because see, a circus, circus would be awesome. I would love to do that.
I always assume
don't know.
circus means
wanna work on
clowns and performance, and the carnival just
Agree.
means rides. I
Yeah.
usually don't assume that
But
both
it's
will have
nomadic
rides or
lifestyle
both will have
too.
performance.
Like
Yeah.
circus, yeah, you watch something inside a tent. Like you might have a circus tent at a carnival or fair, but it doesn't mean
But
they're
have
the
you been to Ringling?
Oh yeah.
So like we've got the Ringling Museum in Florida. I think it's like right outside Sarasota. No, man, I can't remember what the city it's directly outside of. But it basically shows you where the circus went to die. It basically went to Florida to die. And that was sort of the very tail end of the Ringling Brothers and the Barnum and Bailey, like all of that sort of the various circuses had to like pool their resources together at a certain point because they were just dying out so quickly. And now it's sort of completely irrelevant. You still have some circuses, but they're turned into almost petting zoos for the most part.
But everything around that area, this is so crazy. Abbie, I told you about this crazy story at that place that I worked where my boss and me ended up having this whole weird conversation. The weirdest part of that whole area is like when the circus went to die, because there's all the things that are involved in the circus. So Florida, because everything's so plentiful, we ended up with all those animals in Florida, like in kind of droves, a lot of them. But also we ended up with a whole midget town, a whole town of psychics, a
Gibsonton
whole
is one of those.
Gibsonton. Yeah, thank you for telling me the name. I was gonna have to go the long way around, and it'll be so much easier to find it. But I just think it's so like such a crazy little weird Florida thing that even like Lobster Boy, he
Yeah.
lived down here with the bearded lady, and they had kids.
And then a
Like,
murder.
and then a murder. That's so crazy, though. It sounds like you're Lobster Boy and Bearded Lady. But look at Bearded Lady. Like, it just is like up. That
They just
lady
like
has,
going to Portland now.
yeah. That's what I think they tried to do. I think it was part of their ritual was to make the sideshow freak, like on 300 when Leonidas walks into the tent. They wanted the sideshow to be reality because it's like Podesta art. Everything they consider grotesque is beautiful to everything we consider grotesque is beautiful to them. So it's like gory and weird deformed shit. And
when did it start? Do you think it started when the jibbity jabbity pricks started happening and all these deformities started happening?
I think they were also doing shit really in utero. I think that is I think homunculus shit. Like they were
Really?
mixing together genes of things and then putting it in the womb of a cow and then making creatures.
And then letting them out in the wild?
If they survived long enough, I think they trained them.
That's
I think they
fucking
tortured
nuts.
them. I think they passed them around as gifts from one king to another.
Lots of inbreeding too, speaking of kings.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think that the more rare the freak, the more valuable it was to show a king.
Well, the
So
pickle
Oh yeah.
punks, right? Pickle
yeah,
punks were collected by, I guess, what do you get the king that has it all? You get him a pickle punk, and then they start comparing their pickle punks like they're freaking Pogs or Pokemon or something like that. But whoever has like the weirdest looking little formaldehyde baby in a jar, I guess, is the coolest one at a party. And there was a bunch of kings that would have hundreds of these things, and they really are unique. It's not like there's a mold of them. And I think that some of those still exist. There's a picture of
yeah,
Leonardo
Leonardo
DiCaprio like
DiCaprio.
posing
Yeah.
with one of these things.
I'm gonna pull it up, but I can't. I hate when the tabs do that. When you go to pull up something and the tab falls off that whole entire screen, like it just moves. Anyway, there. Those are so fucking crazy. And
I
look at
wonder who
weird.
has the biggest collection right now.
Who?
Which of the Clintons, I guess.
I thought it was Leonardo DiCaprio or something like that.
Well, he holds one, but he goes to a place almost like Ripley's Believe It or Not. There's a specific guy because I think Anthony Bourdain has one too. But it's the same pickled punk that Anthony Bourdain's holding.
I wonder how much one of these legitimately costs. Like, is this a status symbol? This is like iPhone for billionaires or something?
Well, it just seems like
Ultra rare.
yeah. I don't know.
Or do they get together and trade? Like, I'll trade you like my one-eyed, slime boy for your like green-eyed whatever. Like,
Well, it's kind of like we
baseball
talk about
card.
with like drinking the adrenal of Britney Spears, like how and for the people, almost 200 people, and so if some of you are on X right now or Rumble, we're on YouTube, so we can't say things about the jibbity jab or chrome of adrena.
Even that
Those
was a
are
little
like,
risky.
yeah, those are the 2 words for some reason that we've realized will ding us 100%
I found a
of the
new
time.
one, but we're not going to go there, so I'm going to mention it. But I definitely found a new
Oh,
one
I
this week.
have to know.
Curious. Yeah. We probably need to know.
I call it election shenanigans, but if you use the F word there,
Oh,
that's oh my god, it goes right there. It like touches the nerve directly on.
oh yeah, you can't talk about stolen
No,
elections.
no.
Election, don't say the F word.
Yeah.
I can't even think. Like my brain is not.
It rhymes with God.
It rhymes with
No, got it.
Moving on.
yeah.
Moving on.
Fraud of Adrena.
My brain is not working good today.
Yeah, it's so crazy. It's I know. It's you should almost know like, oh, there was a time at least for 3 years that if I got fact checked, there was something on the article that I'm like, I must go deeper with this. I'm 50% of the way done with my dig. Like whatever they dinged me about, I was like, some part of this I didn't go enough. Like somewhere they would help me out by calling certain things false information or like putting it in a certain category that I'd be like, huh, and it'd make me do more research and like figure out a way around their censors.
Well, that's how I found that Sufan Center report that it was something about the report on Q or whatever. But that was how I figured out this is the source of certain phrases and words being universally banned by all the different network. It was because it seems like they all tap into some central source that lets them all know, hey, this is hate speech or this is dangerous and this is how you classify all this. It just didn't make sense that they would all be sharing this information willingly between all of them. There had to be something that was like imposing it outwards, right? So I don't know. I found it, but I don't think that means that I found a workaround for it. It just means that now you know where the money came in order for that to even happen.
Well, speaking of Q, it was in the New York Post about some guy who they're thinking murdered his whole family, and the whole headline was like he was a Q follower.
Yeah, who was that?
It's like, oh, we're going back to that. No, okay.
That woman in
Extremism.
Congress or something, that blonde lady recently.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
No, she's actually really attractive woman.
The new
all
woman.
blondes now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed this, but all of
They
them are
asked her.
blonde.
They asked her like, "Oh, what do you know about QAnon?" She's like, "Well, I heard about him, but I don't know much about him." I'm like, "Why is this still relevant?"
They asked her
motherfuckers?"
because Kash Patel is waiting for confirmation for the FBI. And so they asked her, do you hear the crazy QAnon conspiracies that Kash Patel talks about? And she's like, okay, yeah, I know about QAnon. And they're like, do you think that the government's doing this? And she's like, you're going to have to ask Kash Patel about that. So I feel like that's
Ooh.
kind of where even on the floor, they said, do you believe this from X22 report? And I'm like, this is happening right now.
That's crazy.
And so they also, HBO is like the king of propaganda. And they had this show that they had all the Down the Rabbit Hole and Q and, you know, Buffalo Shaman, Dreadlock Rasta, whatever the little documentaries that they made. So you would know these certain figures in the Q world and that so they could do the narrative. And then afterward, they did another documentary and it's called like Mother God. And that whole cult is Q followers.
Oh,
It's
that's
not a
right.
Republican thing.
The lady
It's
that turned
deeper than
blue,
that.
right?
Huh?
Wasn't that the lady that turned blue? She took too much like silver
Yeah, too
oxide
much
or whatever it
silver.
was.
Yeah, it was almost like they were like, we're gonna make silver oxide look like poison, and but she just drank gallons of silver oxide. Like that's all she lived on. And she turned into a gray person.
What I think colloidal silver, no, right?
Yeah,
Colloidal silver.
Oh, that's
it.
what it was.
That is
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah, she turned into like a Smurf at the end.
Yeah.
And it was
They
crazy.
warned people about that too.
I saw a guy like that at the grocery store in the small town I just moved from. But he wasn't blue. He was just straight up gray, like head to toe, every bit of skin. It was like dark gray. And I was like, what the hell? But
Do you
then
think
I realized
under
it's
Donald
colloidal
Trump's
silver
fake
probably.
tan, he's actually taking colloidal silver and he's like hiding that he's blue?
Is that true? Mar-a-Lago looks like a giant Q from overhead.
I never thought so, but I'll pull it up in a minute.
Uh-huh.
Look at that.
Wow, wild.
And look how little she was.
That's wild. Don't go vegan, guys. It's not the way.
Who that?
That is just silver. Look at her hand.
What's the
Yeah,
Little
but-
Mermaid thing? Is that a book or is that like a floaty? What am I looking at?
Or maybe it looks like an inside tub of some sort. She was their goddess. Like she was their whole goddess. Like
Weird.
it was a weird cult.
Weird. And nothing to do with Q, bro.
No.
Has nothing to do with
And
Q.
you'll watch it, it'll trigger you, Layla.
That's why I haven't
remember
watched
watching
it.
And they make it seem like it's like a Donald Trump cult in a way.
Yeah, but it's
so
and
off.
but it's part of the reason it's like shows like that is where people are like, oh my gosh, Q's a cult.
They're all
Because you're like, oh, it was all set up for that perfect thing. And they live off grid and they have all these crazy ideas about conspiracies. So it almost like puts everything in a little bubble to make your family think you're crazy.
Yeah, and that's not the way to do it. To escape the matrix is you playing in the matrix and making an actual good life for yourself so you don't have to play in the matrix anymore. Not like suffer, like get out of the matrix, suffer, like stay away from people and like create this like whole other realm in this realm that you're in. It's just like, it doesn't make sense to me. You have to participate. You can't just like not participate in this
For
stimulation.
the record, colloidal silver is good for you. It's a natural antibiotic, and there's a lot of good things that you can do with
Yeah,
it. But you have
in
to get
moderation.
the atomic colloidal silver, because if you don't get that and the like nanoparticles are wrong, you will turn yourself blue if you do too much.
Well, like if you drink too much water, you can drown too. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you breathe too much air, you can hyperventilate and die. There's
I
so
have to
many
drink a
things
gallon
that-
and a half a day right now.
Everything in
up to 2.5 gallons.
moderation. Did you get salt? This is so
I
off
know I need
topic.
to still. I lost my debit card.
Oh, damn.
So
Did they take it
everyone
away?
out there, free debit card in Oklahoma, and you can go on a
I
shop
locked it.
free. Oh, never mind. Cut it up. Throw it away. Oh, well, here's another thing real quick too. If you are in the Panhandle area and you do own an establishment that maybe you need a high volume bartender to make good tips during spring break, we might got just a girl for you.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm your girl. I am your girl.
You know, I will. I know some people that do events. You probably could pick up enough events, especially in your area.
I do.
Because you could go to New Orleans, you could drive there and do events.
A lot of people on Alice Beach, and when I say Alice Beach, if y'all know what Alice Beach is, y'all know. If you know, you know. But I mean, these people who live in Alice Beach live on like $20 million properties, and I do events for them. So anytime they have like a house event, I'm the first person they call. Easy $500 night for 3 hours, like doing nothing, like
Nice.
legit doing nothing. And I'm like, call me anytime, baby. I got you. And I bring the energy. Everyone loves me. How could you not love me? Like, seriously. Like, so yeah, I do it when they call me. I'm just speaking the truth. They love me. They love me out here in the streets of Rosemary and Alice Beach.
They love me out of Alice Beach. What?
What?
Wait. What? Brat. That.
They do. Brat, brat.
Shout out to Summer. I haven't talked to Summer in a few days. Shout out to Summer.
How's she
She'll
doing? She
hear
doing
this.
well?
I don't know. She'll just come flying in.
Mhm. And I love when she does.
We haven't had a summer appearance in a while.
I know. I feel like I haven't in my life in general.
You're being asked for your salt code in the chat to post it.
Oh, it's in all the links. It's
Okay.
in the link of the show. It's in the description.
And you just get free salt out of this, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I get paid in like the world's oldest currency. I just get salt.
Right.
The best
And
currency.
What salt code for again? I forgot.
It's for like the it's for like a
We're talking bath salts here, right?
trace minerals.
It's just sodium, magnesium, and potassium. But for a weird thing, I get migraines and I am malnourished in my micronutrients. So it helps me from that. But also when we do the shows late night like this, sometimes I'll end up with leg cramps. And so if I drink salt, I don't get leg cramps anymore. Or Layla, when I would bartend like a 12-hour shift, standing all day on the cold ground, like especially if I had to do grass, I'll get leg cramps by the end of the day.
Yeah.
So if I keep salt,
So wild.
it's so much better. So anyways, it
But
not
here
even
I am blaming like A, B, or C on the chat. Like I'm like, oh, who's in there? Shooting some juju at me.
you just need more salt. But
Yeah,
that's where I
because
always think like if there was a supercomputer and they spent all this time to like try to get into our hands again, like time and time again, and then just delete our history and then rewrite our history on there until they convince us to burn all of our books finally. And then they're like, ha ha ha. And then this fries or blows us up and then they start again.
Yeah.
I forgot the original point of that. Oh, the only way we could kill him would be the salt water. Like that's the only way we could kill technology, I think, is we would just have the
What was that
ocean and we
whole
could rust it.
Or EMP.
conspiracy or like idea that putting a ring of salt around you will protect you from witches or this and that?
Demons and all of that. Yeah, it's
Salt's very protective in a lot of religions and stuff.
it is actually. Oh no, I'll tell you this.
Not witches.
It depolarizes energy. It gets rid of negative energy. And so I was at work and I worked with this chick she's a fucking bitch and I hated her. Like she was just a lazy bitch and she'd come in and she just wouldn't talk to us. Like she was mad at me because I kind of went off on her one day. And so she hadn't talked to me or my boss for like 2 months. And before she came in, she'd always sit down on this chair and like sit there and like huff and puff before she'd get started. And me and my boss were there early, so we were there before every single day. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna salt her chair. She's like, what are you talking about? Like, she's a total Christian woman. I was like, just watch this. I was like, it's supposed to get rid of negative energy. I was like, I'm gonna put it all over this chair. So when she sits down, like we get rid of the negative energy. I was like, may as well try it, right? She's like, she just started laughing. She's like, yeah, go for it. So I throw salt all over this chair because it's like a cloth and it kind of like grainy. So it's sat in there. She comes in and she sits down and I'm in there like doing work and everything. And then all of a sudden she my boss's name was Deborah. She's like, hey, Deborah. And she just all of a sudden started a conversation with her and hadn't talked to her for months. So it was wild. Deborah looked at me and she's like, oh my God.
That is awesome.
Really yeah, no.
What's the thing about throwing it over your shoulder?
Yeah, actually, I just realized me and my sister do it every time when we work at our place. We go by the door and we throw salt over our shoulder and then whoosh, a storm of people will come in. I don't know why it works. It works.
It's a certain shoulder too, right?
I throw it over my left.
I never remember, so I throw it over both. And I've actually sat at a high top before because you're supposed to do it when you spill the salt.
Yeah.
So then
Purposefully.
when I threw it over my shoulder once, I got it in somebody's eye, sitting at a lower table.
Holy shit.
Well, whoops.
Yeah. Oops. I was like,
happens.
I feel like I was in my early 20s. I was probably an asshole. I thought it was so funny at the time.
It's your left shoulder.
Yeah, because I couldn't even explain to them what I was up to. Like they didn't know. She just all of a sudden her eye, she had
I would have been laughing.
I was dying. I couldn't explain to you. Like you were sitting across from me, and all I did was hear her be like, "Oh, I got some in my eye. It hurts." And I was trying to tell you, but I was dying laughing so hard that I couldn't even say.
I'd be peeing my pants.
And I was like, so I just told it like that. Like I tried to explain it like. Yeah, it's so awful. I don't even know that poor lady. I hope her eyes are okay.
Isn't that what
Leave 'em
got
out.
Jim
Stay
Carrey
later.
into a fight in Dumb and Dumber?
I don't know. It seems like what you could do though in a fight would be put salt in your pocket and then you could just throw it at somebody. Isn't that what Jean-Claude Van Damme? Didn't he
It
get
was
salt
sand
in his
too.
eyes?
That's like what Dale Gribble and Pocket Sand.
Oh, it's just sand. It's not
Is there
salt.
salt in saliva?
Probably a little.
So that whole like
I don't know.
how we do like, oh my god, she's so cute, and we spit on the child like, oh my god, like I
Are
don't
you
want to give
looking
it
it
the
up,
evil eye.
Thomas?
I'm just
Like-
thinking about spitting on a child.
Well, yeah, like in
Layla has weird
Greece,
stuff in her culture.
like if you don't want to give somebody the evil eye, apparently like when you say something to some like a child, you're like, oh my god, she's so cute, and you're like, like I don't want to give you the evil eye, so like you spit on it. So I guess the idea, oh excuse me, if there's salt in saliva, maybe that's the same idea of like not giving it bad energy, like giving it
Well,
protection.
superstition wise, I've also heard that when a black cat crosses your path, to counteract that, you're supposed to spit.
So it is. I wonder, does saliva? Hold on, let me ask ChatGPT.
Isn't it on Friday the 13th that is a thing?
I think it's anytime.
A black cat.
Unless you have a black cat, then it doesn't count.
I thought it was.
It's got to
only
be
on a
Mountain Dew
certain-
pitch black too.
I thought it was only on a certain day that it was like on Friday the 13th. This thing is a thing.
I don't think so, because it's just a bad luck thing, because it's also like breaking a mirror. 'cause
Yes.
breaking a mirror isn't just supposed to be 7 years of bad luck on Friday the 13th. It's like,
Yeah, breaking a mirror is like I've heard it's bad luck, and then walking under a ladder I just think is stupid. Like it's like telling people not to eat shellfish. Like
Yeah.
it's like these idiots, they're always going to do the wrong thing. Just make it a rule. Like make it bad superstition because they walk under the ladder every time and then 2 people die.
yeah.
So our saliva does contain salt. Specifically, it contains sodium ions and chloride ions. Along with sodium and chloride, saliva contains other electrolytes like potassium, calcium, bicarbonate, and as well as enzymes, mucus, and protein.
And little bits of food.
Why they gotta put mucus in there? Like, ugh, mucus reminds me of pussy. Ugh.
Mucus.
Mucus.
Pussy.
Yeah.
Mucus is
About
grosser
mucus
than
and
pussy.
because I gotta eat fish soon, and I'm like, "Ugh."
I don't mind pussy at all as a word. Pussy is disgusting.
It is,
It is.
but that's how it's spelled. Why? Don't. It ain't pussy.
I was thinking beginning has beg in it. I thought it was weird. Like when I was writing it out, beginning's a weird word. The beginning.
Oh,
Beginning.
they want to see your tatas, Thomas.
Begging.
Thomas.
We're begging to leave this realm.
Mountain your
Look at that.
mom.
He's giving you a show.
Mountain Abbie's mom.
Mountain
Too
Abbey's
soon?
mom.
Too soon.
I didn't get it.
No, because that's his name. Mountain your mom.
Oh yeah.
And I said Mountain Abbey's mom. And then I said too soon. Just kidding.
Yo, I love how they found that the USI, what is it called?
USAID.
Yeah, USAID, whatever. I love that they called them out finally.
Thank you, Mountain your mom. I wanted to say thank you too. Big up yourself.
To
Okay,
who?
sorry. Go on about the USAID.
The USAID fraud, apparently stealing from the American people and sending money where they shouldn't be sending and taking money where they shouldn't be taken,
Right.
apparently. And yeah, we should collect our refunds like quickly, ASAP.
Yeah, we should get that back. We shouldn't just point it out. We should actually get it back on
Yeah,
top
get
of
it
that.
back. Yeah, bring it back into our tax refunds. Thank you very much.
Some of the stuff that they're finding out the USAID is going to and how back it goes. I think it's going to be very interesting because I wonder how many false flags it's going to be tied to. I wonder how much with jibby jabs it's going to be tied to. But all the way back, like it's never been a good organization.
Cat Williams called it. He said, "We're in a time of revelation where all the truths are going to come out. So be prepared and welcome to the golden age, people." He said, "This is a great time to be alive," and he's happy about it. He's
Would you
all
say
smiles.
Cat Williams made it up, or would you call it the Great Awakening?
I don't know.
It's like Revelations. It will be biblical.
I don't know, really. I don't think he made it up. I think he knows people and he sees what's happening and he knows what's coming in that group of elite.
If you were
So
shamed, like if you were shamed by them for real, or like you were like, no, I'm not playing ball with you guys, and they were like, you're not playing ball with us, then psh, we're gonna shame you, make you look like an asshole everywhere. Blah 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 blah. We know what they do. We're gonna put you in a dress. We're gonna make you look good. Like how Dave Chappelle says before he got home from the Comedy Central studios, they made him look crazy, and so if they've been doing that to a certain amount of people for a certain amount of time, or however long, these honey traps and this blackmail and this whatever, some of the people might not have that dark of blackmail. They just might not have played ball. And so somewhere along the line, they had the rug pulled on them. And so they might have a little bit of safety right now where they're like, I don't give a fuck. Like P. Diddy, they might know people, like they might have friends that P. Diddy killed or had killed.
what
So
if
now that it's like P. Diddy's behind bars, I'm gonna talk shit, like Jamie Foxx or all these shows coming out or stand-ups.
Dude, hear me out, okay? And the whole idea of like the good guys, okay? Since we are the good guys. Think about this. If you have to play the game, you have to kind of act like you're in this cult or whatever. What if there's a group who portrays themselves as like the P. Diddy group, saying like, oh yeah, we fucking rape people, we do this, we do that, but they really don't. And they just recruit people in as if they're in this like insane, weird, grotesque cult. But they're like, they see, I guess this good guys called kind of like views people's character and kind of recruits them into the good guys group, but plays the bad guy at the same time. Why do I feel like that exists?
They
I
were
know
like,
how
"Oh, I went
sound.
to a Prince party." Like,
Uh-huh.
"Oh, I'm good. I don't need to go to a Diddy White party. I've been going up to Prince's party."
Yeah,
And then
that's
Prince
what
is
I'm
having a
saying.
party where they're all like sitting around in circles doing this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What if that's what I feel like is going on here? Like there's a group of people who act like they're in the game, but they're really just playing the game just so they can reveal revelation to
Do
everybody
you
and
see
just
how Donald Trump came out and said about the Kennedy Center how it's been ran by like trannies for the last 4 years and whatever's going on over there is wackadoo, and so he's going to be the new chairman of the board of the Kennedy Center.
In
And
DC, right?
yeah, and so I just think it's interesting because the term chairman of the board is very Frank Sinatra. This is what Frank Sinatra's nickname was, the chairman of the board.
Frank
So
Sinatra's Albanian, by the way.
Also, a
So-
great movie with Carrot Top.
a chairman of the board.
Yeah.
But the Rat Pack helped JFK get voted in. He wouldn't have gotten voted in otherwise. So without Frank Sinatra, and then the last song that Donald Trump played after a speech on January 6th before the insurrection happened was My Way by Frank Sinatra. And so him doing the Kennedy Center honors, it just seems like, and calling himself the chairman of the board, it definitely seems like if there was a secret society of good guys, maybe it was old Blue Eyes. Because he was
Dude.
involved with different mafia families. Not that there's any good guys, but
Dude.
some families don't mess around with dealing with women and children and human trafficking.
So it just came out recently that Frank Sinatra is actually from Arbresh, Italy. So he's an Albanian, old Albanian city of Italy that's called Arbresh, and they're the Arbresh. That's the ancient tribe back like past 2,000 years, and it's still there. And he's part of that. So he's technically not Italian, but actually Albanian blood. And it just came out like recently in these past 2 weeks. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Why is all these Albanians in history like all being like hidden?
Frank has
some reason.
had next level power because he
Mhm.
wasn't just like he whatever kind of weight he had with the mafia, Hollywood was nervous by it.
Mm.
And not a lot of people walked around Hollywood where he's like, hey, Hollywood, me and my friends, we're going to make this movie because we all want to hang out together and we want to get paid for it. Like, find us a script.
Yeah.
You know, it's
And
a
then
nice
the Jewish
scam you guys
mafia
got
came.
going on out here. I like the scam you got. And so like he would just run his own version of it. And I also think that people realize that he might actually call that shot on you, right? Like he was a little bit wild enough that if you did cross him, or if you did tell him no too many times, then like, you know, maybe you start sleeping with the fishes or something.
Yeah.
But I hear the Albanian
Swimming with the
mafia,
fish.
like if he had more mafia connections, like if he had old family connections to things that we don't necessarily know. So it's not just oh, I know some guys in Brooklyn. Oh, I know some guys in Vegas. Oh, I know some guys in Chicago. And then you're like, oh, I know some guys in Italy. Oh, I know some guys in Albania. Like it starts getting these different kind of things where you're like, how do you keep a big enough secret to take down a cabal? It has to be older than the empire itself.
Yeah.
Like they're
It's all
always
tied to Rome.
like somewhere the people have had to flee or fight, you know, to keep whatever kind of secrets that are there.
In
Look
the
at on the
beginning.
side of this, I just realized too. This is like I remember when I made this probably a decade ago, this background that's on here right now, but this is Officer Tibbetts on the screen, like into the side of a nuclear tower. He's the guy that they used as the body double for JFK.
He was also the cop that allegedly found Oswald outside the movie theater and got shot.
Yeah. And so, but he just happened to look just like JFK, and people say they used his body as like a body double because they took so many shots at JFK's head that they couldn't just say, oh, it was a lone gunman.
Yeah. So apparently now MLK is a psyop. JFK's situation is a psyop. Rosa Parks is a psyop. Amelia Earhart apparently now is actually CIA documents revealed is a psyop. So what else? I can't wait for it all.
What the MLK is a psyop? What do you mean?
Well, there's a whole CIA release of the information about MLK and what he was really up to. And apparently he was a pedophile and all this. He was tied to Freemasonry. And just like Rosa Parks, she was rich. Not rich, but like, yeah, no, she was rich. They were part of like a society as well. And they had a car, and the actual person who actually didn't stand up and move to the back was another woman and didn't name her. Like it just goes.
Well,
deep.
she was for real, like the lady who really did it wasn't an activist, but she was like dark skinned and it didn't look as appealing on the posters. And so Rosa Parks was like more attractive. And then it was kind of like how they use Paul Revere. There was a whole bunch of women that did it. It wasn't just like Rosa Parks. It was like a whole bunch of women were like, here's what we're all going to do today.
They were all auditioning for the part.
They probably were. And it was like whatever one gets the biggest, whoever the newsman pays attention to, or wherever we can get the arrest to go down, because we need all these other things to happen.
Yeah, now also it's coming out about the Black Panthers and how they treated their women and the rape culture and the beatings and the I think even murders of women and control of women and a lot of crazy sick shit that they don't tell the people what actually happened with these strong, powerful Black women who are actually trying to make a change in their community. But men coming up, man, sometimes I really think men really hate women. They either want to hate them, rape them, beat them, kill them, this, that, the next, the more I see it. But anyway, that's another
It was
Only
one
if they're
time.
like big enough.
That was one time.
And sometimes love them.
But it has to be like big enough. Like, haven't you ever seen Silence of the Lambs?
Their subconscious is trying
Silence
to
of
tell
the
them
Lambs
something.
changed the game for a chubby girl because it always was just like, well, I'm not really the hot girl, so I'm not going to be taken by the Son of Sam. Or you always had this idea like Ted Bundy, he's probably not going to go after me. My hair color is not this. But
I'm telling you.
Silence of the Lambs, they were like, oh, the chubby girl, I can fit in her like a skin suit.
I'm telling you, Chaney, there's something in no offense to all men, okay? This is regarding the men who just like really hate women. Okay, its subconscious is telling them something that they're just like fighting deep within. It's like, what is it about these women that they're so powerful and they get to create these, beings, and they made me on this planet and blah blah. There's like something in their soul that's just making them like not want us on this planet, or they want to be us. It's like something, one or the other. I don't get it, and I'm just sick of it, and it's gonna change hopefully, and that's the timeline we're gonna live on. We're all gonna
You're on
respect each
notice.
other.
Yeah.
Men, no shitty men. You're on notice. That's it. Period.
Remember sometime last week, maybe it was Sunday, where we got in trouble because we laughed about rape.
Yeah.
In
This
trouble
is
with
what
who?
no one really.
Okay.
Somebody in the audience, and we were like chit chatting. I forget who but the thing I was thinking right now is like, I hope I didn't offend anyone with that talk of a human skin suit.
And we're
Like,
laughing
yeah,
about
like we
it.
talk about the craziest shit all the time.
Isn't that how Han Solo
We
survived like the winter?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or even the Revenant. How
If you want Leo DiCaprio to survive, then there have to be sacrifices.
Isn't that what fried chicken is?
What?
somebody tag that. Timestamp that.
Isn't that what fried chicken is?
Timestamp that so you
Egg
can watch
within an egg?
Layla's question, and then at the exact same time, Abbie and Thomas's head turned to the side like a dog that heard high pitched noise.
It's like you
I
take the
wanna
egg and
understand
coat
the
it with the egg.
Make it make sense, Layla.
I'm so shocked.
Ask
Yeah.
again and make it make sense.
So it's like you're taking the part of a chicken, an egg within the egg. So you're coating the chicken when you're making fried chicken, because you're taking the egg and coating the chicken with the egg, which is the chicken. So it's the same idea. Like
That is like a brutal practice, right? You're almost like adding the ultimate insult to injury. Like, not only did we kill you, but we're gonna rub your baby's
we're gonna
flesh
cover
all
you
over
and
your
smother
skin
you
and
in
then cook
that.
you.
Right. Well, that's why in the Bible it says that you're not supposed to, like the Old Testament, so the Jews or whatever, they don't eat like dairy, and that's why they keep it all separate. They don't eat dairy with because it's like it's a sin to eat an animal's flesh and drink the milk that's for their babies, like put all in one meal. It's just cruelty.
I'm so shocked, y'all. But you guys love it. Don't fucking fret.
It's one of the best things about down south is if you know somebody with a fry daddy, the shit that you fucking have thrown in the fry daddy and have fried it. Like, this is how we don't just have okra, we have Oreos. Like,
Yeah,
it's
fry
like every
everything.
single thing you can think of in the South, we have stuck that thing in the fryer. We fry ice cream.
That didn't sound right. We stuck that thing.
We stuck that thing in the fryer.
Do you have a fry daddy?
I don't have a fry daddy. I don't even have a microwave.
Good, don't.
No, I haven't had a microwave for like 15
Fuck that
years.
shit.
I did yesterday say aloud, because I don't even have a toaster oven right now, and I don't think anything fine. Toaster oven. I was wishing that I had a toaster oven, waiting for the oven to heat up. I think yesterday I was like, all right. Yep, deep fried Twinkies. That's what I was thinking of the whole time I was talking, but I didn't go there.
It's so gross. I don't know how anyone does it. It all tastes exactly the same. It tastes like you're at a carnival. It just has like a carnival taste to it. And I'm halfway
I
convinced
love
that
the carnival taste.
it brings you back. Yeah,
Right,
because
right?
now you're like thinking about when you were a kid at the carnival all over again. But you're not really tasting the thing. You're just eating whatever the hell canola oil like soaked thing, but it just teleports you to that exact moment.
But when they put that dough in there and make that elephant ear or whatever thing they're up to at the carnival, that is so good. That fried dough.
It's bussin'. For real. It's good.
See, I just smell it and I can like hear the rides and the games. You know what I mean? Like, it's that
Right.
strong of like a NLP anchor.
And you're
I
all
know,
kind
like
of
the corn dog
nauseous.
and like the funnel cake of it all. Yes, anything fried like that. It's total carnival.
It's good.
But also now when I smell that and it brings me back there, my very next thought is like NLP programming. Like something is trying to program me right now. I mean, that's kind of the whole premise, is that you can make this fried food anywhere and it always will like lock you in. It'll snap you back to this. Speaking of DC, the one spot that'll always get me though are the damn Native American fry bread spots. I don't know if you've ever had like actual fry bread before. That one is impossible to avoid.
I get sick every time I eat fry bread, though. That's the thing, is like, I don't know why. Like, I
oil.
love Indian tacos. I like fry bread, but every time, yeah, I think it's the oil. Every time it makes me sick. Like, I'll throw up.
The oil's from like 1800s, right?
I think that's
To
why.
make the
Yeah,
fry bread.
pretty
Yeah,
much.
it all would matter because it's like it could be vegetable oil or corn oil or
It was whatever the
dirty
government
oil.
decided to load off on the reservation that they didn't want anymore. It was like,
Well, exactly.
here's a
That's why
bunch
they
of
started
flour and
making it, because
oil.
they would get a lot of flour with their commodities. So that's where fry bread came from.
Look at
God.
deep fried Snickers are pretty, pretty, pretty.
I want to try one of those. That sounds so good.
It is pretty good. And we threw everything in that bitch. Sometimes at work, if it was slow, we'd be like, "Oh, I guess we're smoking a joint out back." At the one place I worked with the Fry Daddy, and then we'd all have like the munchies, and then we were like, "What can we invent and throw in that thing?" Like what kind of concoctions? The other thing that's happened over the last few years is people have taken their food dehydrators and put like gummy bears in them and Skittles in there, and that's
and
okay
then
at
sell them
first.
on Etsy.
Is
Yeah,
it
and then sell 'em on
dehydrators or the
Because it's not
freeze?
dehydrated. Yeah.
freeze dried, freeze
Yeah,
dried.
to freeze.
yeah.
And then they charge you $10, literally $10 for a little pack
They're
of
so
Skittles.
bomb, though. They're so
No, they are
bomb.
I
good,
mean,
but
it's
like,
a business,
I
a
bring
legitimate
10 bucks for that.
business. You just
I love
get
the
the
texture.
freeze dryer and then you just buy Skittles and you put them online and you sell them. Like there's actually, I've seen advertisements. It's like, do you want to make an extra, $2,000 in passive income? And it's just like an entire business model now.
Riggs.
Yeah,
He's
smallpox
always making me
oil.
laugh, right?
He's like, so on the Indian reservation, they had smallpox. That's so stupid. But that's how his humor always is. It always makes me laugh like that. Sorry. Ooh, I got myself a little too stoned for tonight. As if there is such a thing.
Never.
It's 1:30 in the morning.
Never.
If you are the over 200 people that are hanging out with us, make sure you follow whoever, or if you made it over to YouTube, hit the thumbs up. It helps us with Al Gore's rhythm. I wish I had a clip right now of Al Gore dancing that just came up.
Are there clips of him dancing?
No,
guess
but
there
I
have
think
to be.
we need to make one that we put on a transparent thing that it's like Al Gore dancing, and then all of a sudden his rhythm gets good and then he break
Wait,
dances.
did he not have a first dance with his wife when they called the race for Al Gore as winner versus Bush?
Is that a thing?
Wasn't
didn't
he?
win.
Like a
Wait, who
wedding?
was it that won and then they took it back and changed it? Wasn't it Al Gore?
I
That was
think Al
2000,
Gore,
yeah. That was Gore and Bush.
Yeah, that was Al Gore.
right
Right?
before 9/11,
Yeah, I remember that.
like prepping us up.
They announced it and everyone was like running to get the newspaper because they said, "Oh my God, this is going to be worth a lot of money because they claimed him as a president, but he's not." So
But
everyone
too bad
was
it was Al Gore, so it's not worth
Mhm.
anything.
Well, it's so funny. They're like, oh, he's like, oh, I'm going to lose the election. And they're like, don't worry, we're going to give you an even bigger false flag than Bush's. And they're
Mhm.
like, he's like, what could be bigger than freaking 9/11? They're like, global warming.
Mhm.
They were like, don't worry, you'll be a
Global warming,
billionaire.
You'll be able to
Yes.
milk this one for decades, not
Yeah.
just like a term.
Global
We're going to
warming.
create a whole new tax out of this one.
What was it before global warming? What did they name it
Ozone
before they
layer.
went
The
bankrupt?
hole in the ozone was sort of the
Yeah,
origin
Greenhouse
of that.
effect.
No, it was called something else, but then they went bankrupt and
That's
they
a
named
brain.
it climate change. It was climate change, or no, it was global
was
warming,
global
and then they
warming and
changed it
climate
to
change.
climate
Yeah.
change. Yeah. and then the whole global warming narrative went bankrupt. So then they created a new company, I guess, to
there's a lot of
back that.
There's certain celebrities that I don't know if it's just gay people, but we talk about them all the time, and they come out of the closet, and every like straight people are shocked, and we're like, "What the fuck?" That's Al Gore.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has that amount of gayness, like where he just talks like. It was a funny post that I saw, and I reposted it. Where Donald Trump, it's like Donald Trump just signed an executive order that the gay voice has to go. It made me laugh. Anyways, I'm gonna.
What else happened?
I'm gonna. If you guys have you guys seen anything that's been going on over here?
No, yeah, this might not even be safe to even talk about.
What?
But yeah.
What?
So-
the Ye came
Oh.
out of hiding, and he has been going all day long.
Oh damn! I didn't see any of this.
Last night, yeah.
He declared himself Hitler, or what the hell was it? Yeah, Adolf Hitler. He was like, my name's now Adolf Hitler.
Well, he's not banned.
I think he's testing the limits. He's
I
like,
love that.
He's essentially calling himself God today.
Hey,
Like,
it's a
I don't have
free
to like
world.
y'all, I'm a billionaire.
Say what you
I
want.
treat you however I want.
Don't let anybody control you. Nobody.
He's taking the F word back too, apparently.
you,
Yeah,
bro.
look at I'm
Do
like,
it.
this is
Do
like
it.
so Tower Gang, like circa 2023. Like, oh, that's how I feel though. Some of these like celebrities where it's just like Whitney Cummings, like where they're like, oh my gosh, she said something conspiratorial. Like, it's just like, get off our dick, all right? Like, go back over and talk about whatever it like. Look at you guys. I'm gonna start saying faggot. Like, cool, just say it then. You don't have to like announce it first.
It's not nonsense. I love this. This is what freedom of speech is. This is chef's kiss for me. I love it. Anyone who says you can't say this and you can't say that, go fuck yourself. Like, who are you? No one has.
Who's telling him that he can't say it though?
That's the big question. Who's telling any of us what we're allowed to say? Schmack, schmeans, and code words for adrena, like it's so fucking retarded that we have to make up code words to speak fucking American English. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Well,
No,
previously
I love
it was Elon Musk was literally the one that took away
Go for it,
Ye's
bitch.
account.
Go for it. I love it. Keep going. Anybody, say whatever the fuck you want. Don't hurt anybody physically, but words.
To me, it's not even at all about the freedom of speech. It's that Kanye West is just getting marketing for something he's about to do next.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it has nothing to do. Yeah, he's like,
election.
when I like, oh, no one's paying attention to me. Oh, let me say Jew. Oh, no one's paying attention to me. Let me say faggot. Oh, no one's paying attention to me. Let me start a white church with Marilyn Manson and Justin Bieber. Like, he's just like, I don't know. Kanye married Kim Kardashian. Like, that is like, I just feel like, how deep did you go? How deep did you go?
A P. Diddy remix too, I think, or like a mixtape. He put out some new track with P. Diddy, I think for the exact same reason that you're talking about.
Yeah, he said Donald Trump, you should pardon P. Diddy.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Laura.
Well, I'm Albanian. I grew up where like they'll call out a fat person for being fat, a skinny person for being skinny. So it's like no one says anything. It's fuck out of here. Like, yeah, it is what it is. We'll call it as we see it, and that's it. We'll say what we want, and that's it. Take it or leave it. And that's it.
Yeah, that's
you
not even the
okay,
issue.
bye.
I feel like everybody on X is just talking how they want to talk. Like, to me, it's just Kanye has a narrative. Like, he's doing a thing. It's like, here's a whole naked robot at this award show at the Grammys. They kick me out. No, they didn't. Like, he was wanting so bad to be the center of attention for the whole award show. Like, here's a naked girl, like, for you all to see. And she has clothes. And look, I'm not going to get into any trouble for this. This is just what is happening. And it just feels like it's a buildup. Like, he'll probably release a coin.
I don't know.
That's my bet.
Yeah.
He'll have a meme coin within the next blank amount of time.
Oh, that
Does
was another
Bianca
one of
have
his
a meme
posts
coin?
today.
What?
Does Bianca Sensory
Oh, I'm sure she has like
have
50,000 of them.
I love how her name is Sensory. Her last name.
What'd you say, Thomas?
He had a post today about someone approached him. I don't know how accurate it is, but he had a screenshot of a message, someone saying, "Hey, yay, we'll give you like $1.2 million if you post this thing and keep it up for 8 hours on your account that says, here's this new official Kanye coin." But they told him that it was essentially going to be a rug pull and that he was allowed, after the 8 hours, he was allowed to say, "Hey, my account got hacked. I didn't mean to post that," because the people knew that by the time 8 hours would have elapsed, they would have enough money to do the rug pull. So I don't know if this is
I
accurate.
wonder who they are.
But he posted that someone approached him about it, which does seem like maybe this is him gearing up to announce.
I wonder
an
if it
actual
was
official.
the Doginal Dogs. I wonder if it was them. I'm just saying it live because it has to be said. Those are no.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Kanye thing also, he came up with Jay-Z first. Like wasn't that the person who discovered him?
I mean, he's the one that elevated him beyond just do, because he was a beat maker originally. He was actually sponsored in the early 2000s by like Akai, which made the MPC, which is like this little drum sampler thing. But he had like sort of connections with them, and then he had like an LRG sort of sponsorship. So he was already part of kind of like the underground backpacker crowd. But yeah, as soon as he linked up with Jay-Z, that's when he was able to, go from millions to billions, essentially.
Yeah, I don't think anything is for free. Even that like weird Taylor Swift Beyonce thing that then at the Grammys this year, Kanye almost ushered in the whole attention for the Beyonce to get country album of the year on her Pale White Horse album that she wrote in on. And then Taylor Swift is the person that gives her the award. So we have this whole like full circle back to Kanye taking the award from Taylor. And it's not, I don't really care what you feel about Hollywood so much. I care about magic. And I think these people operate in high levels of sorcery. Like MK Ultra is just a scientific explanation of how people do magic. Like all science is trying to figure out magic. Like
Yeah.
and most of it they can't explain, or they give you a wrong equation anyway. So these people are doing next level things. I don't think you marry a coven or Kardashians and just get away scot free. I think you might, like, he's like, keep my daughter away from Diddy. And then he's like, Trump, you should pardon Diddy.
And buy our new single.
That's not the real Kanye, though. That's what I think. That's not the original Kanye. This is not the same person. This is a doppelganger. I truly believe that. I don't know, in my soul, I don't think this is the same character.
I think he could have been just transformed by money. Like, it wouldn't even take to like give him a yickety yak, right? Like, you could just give him enough money, and some people would transform themselves just through that process.
That's true. That's very true for money.
And
NASA does.
This is another thing that I think is such a good point, is it's because Kendrick Lamar is playing at the Super Bowl this weekend halftime show, and the pendulum, Kanye doesn't even get the pendulum of that anymore. It'd be like calling out an old wrestler. The pendulum of that is Drake. So Kanye is like nowhere to be found in this rap battle. Like no one's like, not like us, and the whole stadium's going to be chanting. No one's talking about Kanye. No one's talking about Yeezys. No one's talking about, like, it's like, oh my gosh, did you see Kanye's naked girlfriend? Yeah, she had people just talk about her body for a second, and then it's like funk on to the next story. Like, it wasn't, I don't think the George Bush doesn't like black people that Kanye is used to, or like, he just went back on too many things. Maybe he should have left some stuff alone. But in the movie,
I think it would have been way cooler if he showed up to the red carpet and he was dressed like Justin Timberlake, and Bianca was dressed up like Janet Jackson, and they just like did like the reenactment of that Super Bowl show. That would have been way cooler and way more relevant.
It would have been cooler. I thought you were going to say if they showed up in the outfit that Britney and Justin wore to the MTV Movie Awards, the all denim.
Well, they were very relevant. If you saw the like Google searches compared to like what people searched, Grammys versus her, Grammys was like third, and she was like number one. Like
Who was
I think
number one?
Kanye, Bianca, then it was Kanye West, and then Grammys. Like people were not interested in the fucking Grammys. They didn't care. They didn't. After that, they were like, "Holy fucking shit!" And she was the number one searched character for like 2 or 3 days, something like that.
Yeah, I think Kanye's good at taking the air out of a room. Like it was him. He was not on Twitter for however long, and then he came on, said a couple like things and like to amp up this whole thing of like, and here's naked Bianca,
What was
I
her
wanna
name? John
say-
Legend and his wife.
Chrissy
What's her name?
Teigen.
Yeah, she
that's
thought
right.
she was gonna take the
The pizza
spotlight,
lady.
but Bianca came in and was like, yeah, no one, because hers was just as revealing, but no one paid attention to it because hers was extra revealing. If you saw her, whatever her fucking name is, dress, his name, excuse me.
Chrissy Teigen.
Yeah.
There's a movie.
Pedophile.
I think it's has Paul Giamatti in it. I think, but it's called The Cooler, and this kind of just blew my mind. But that the premise was that certain casinos have an actual person on their payroll that's just has the worst luck. They're just and they call them the Cooler. So if there's someone that's on a hot streak, they're at the table, they're at like blackjack or they're doing like video poker, and they're just killing it. They just like have some kind of like lucky streak going. The casino will send a cooler to like sit next to them or like be at the table to kind of like counteract their luck. It's almost like a magic war, right? And that's kind of what you're describing. Like Kanye's kind of the cooler in the situation. If you're like getting a little bit too big, they could just send Kanye in there, and just him being in the room will completely change your whole entire trajectory.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if they were going to try to do anything else, or like if any other kind of it does having that kind of chaos factor does change everything up. Like even the New Orleans, like the whole entire, like even when he said George Bush doesn't like black people, it was like they were trying to raise money for New Orleans for I don't
Right.
even know how long. Like, and which is so wild we're talking about it because I think the stadium that was all torn up during Hurricane Katrina is the stadium that all this is happening in right now. And
Oh, damn.
it's Caesar, right? Is it
Yeah.
Caesar?
That would be wild if this is the same stadium that you're talking about.
You guys, will you see if
And
they
they're
tore
saying this
down
is
that
the
stadium?
last. A lot of people are saying this is the last Super Bowl. I don't know why they're saying this, but they're saying this is the last Super Bowl. And I'm like, oh, here we go, another last of something. But there's like this whole thing again on
Last
TikTok.
president too, right?
Last president, last fucking Super Bowl. Alien something might happen. They're saying alien shit is gonna happen. I don't fucking know anymore.
Last Super Bowl
I was like,
seems
bring it.
aggressive
Popcorn
though.
ready. Huh?
Because even if this is the last president, we're supposed to have 4 years, right? So there should be at least
Yeah.
4 Super Bowls left.
All right.
Okay. So it is at Caesar Superdome. I think that
probably
is, I think the Superdome is what was rebuilt in Katrina. I don't think they built another stadium in New Orleans unless they tore it all the way down to the bones. And
Rome.
don't
I
think-
know, that's what I think too. And it's
We're
in New
still in Rome.
Orleans, which is so, you know, like dead. It's so, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in New Orleans that we were talking about magic, but vampires and witches. But I also think it's interesting that it's X17 upside down because of the Super Bowl number that it is this year.
Or Licks.
Licks.
Super
That's-
Bowl Licks, New Orleans.
Dionysus loves
The
it.
Superb Owl Licks, New Orleans.
And Donald Trump's going to go to the Super Bowl.
Hmm.
And I have my thought, everybody keeps like, oh, something crazy is going to go down. I think the opposite. I think something crazy was supposed to go down, but because Donald Trump is going, now there is the most amount of security that people have to go through, and now they're not panicked to go through it. So I just think him showing up means everybody's a little safer, the fact that he's there.
Oh yeah.
I don't
He
know.
should just have protective glass around him though, just in case.
But then we talk about in the beginning and like where these stories kind of created some part of you, like we could say like maybe human history took a fork in the road when Julius Caesar was stabbed in the back. And so then you're like, oh, would Caesar followers way back when be like, one day we're going to take this whole motherfucker back? Like, you know, is that just like a Shakespearean tale? Julius Caesar, just another one of those lies and histories they tell us.
But it would be Julius, or would it be
Julie,
the other Caesars?
Julius.
Julia Caesar. Is that what you're saying?
Shows
Yeah.
your clavicle, Caesar.
Yeah, let us measure your arms, Caesar. Oh shit. What is the whole Caesar story? I don't know more of it.
I don't know. There's Augustus, right? Like that's what August is named after.
Well, he's a different Caesar though.
I know, but I'm just saying there's other Caesars too.
Oh yeah, it's just a title.
We say Caesar.
Oh yeah, I
I
guess
don't
you're
know.
right.
It's
That's not called
pronounced Caesar.
Julius Caesar fucking stadium. It's just called Caesar Stadium.
Caesars, yeah. So we
It
don't.
was
need Caesar.
definitely not pronounced Caesar back in
It
the
might
day.
as well just be called King Stadium. Is essentially kind of.
Yeah. Or like
So,
Pharaoh
a
Stadium.
curious thing is like Columbia University used to just be called King University.
Really?
So like even the phrase Columbia goes back to the head of Columbia. If we were to, it's Prince fucking Charles.
Caesar would
So
be
even the District of Columbia, guess what that is? The crown.
Wait, are we talking about Columbia, like where you go, like where all the blow comes from, like that Columbia is?
No, Columbia, the college, the Ivy League
Okay, okay.
college. But
I was like,
Columbia, where
oh.
all the blow comes from, is probably named after this exact same shit.
so like they're saying in the chat, Chazars, that's what Caesar would be pronounced. Cesar,
Sorry.
not Caesar. It would be literally pronounced Cesar.
Maybe, but this is like people that demand that you say it like Ibiza. Like I'm
Yeah.
not saying Ibiza. I'm gonna say Ibiza.
Well,
Tomato.
And according to that language, how they had it back in the day in the structure, what C would be, it wouldn't be S, it would be Ch, like Cesar or Cesar, not Khazar or Caesar. It would be a T, like not that sound that we're making. So it's like, is it a Chazar? Little Chazar? The Chazars? And we're missing something by mispronouncing.
Or how you just say
pronouncing.
borders are.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, see, like we just say czar
Uh-huh.
if we're talking about that.
I don't know.
So, but then it's like Caesar. Are you the czar of the sea? Because you know, like it's one of those letters that you're also writing like holy sea or
Mhm.
holy. You know, do you see it with your eyes or is it the ocean? But Columbia is, I don't know. Does it mean border king? Are you the border czar? What is it? What does it comes from?
Muhammad, peace be upon him.
Yep, that's what it really means. Charizards.
Chazar.
Well, that's what's so weird is that Tsar is a Russian word,
Pokemon.
and like Russian
Gotta
is
catch
written
'em
in
all.
Cyrillic. So why do they spell it CZAR?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Well,
it's
also-
not like they're like taking it straight from Russian and using the same alphabet.
But they
Well,
usually give czar if you look like historically in our country,
R.
czar's given to an impossible job. Like if you ever get the title that has czar in it, like you're screwed. Like
You're fucked.
this job has no good outcome for you.
I know R is gold. AR. Like R. The Iranian or Aryan, Arbrish, the R, it's gold. That's what it means. And the Czar, the Z, the Z, it's like, I'm wondering if it's black gold. The Czar. Czar. No, fire. There you go, Czar. Fire.
That's when you got that za.
The
That's
Zaz.
the fire.
The Zaza. Got that fire.
Look at Cyrillic is Greek.
Cyrillic. Yeah, but that's also what they
Greek
call
is
the Russian
Hebrew.
alphabet. It's also Cyrillic is also Russian.
Y'all
And
should
look
look
at
up
then I
the
like
language
this.
Some of the
tree.
Middle Eastern countries are also
Hebrew
Cyrillic.
is, I know this is my thing too, is that C did not come into the alphabet until way later. And I always mock it a little bit that somewhere in the Great War, the Great Alphabet War, before there was like CK, it was all Q, it was qua. So the C was camel and the Q was eye of a needle. And so the C was the camel would not fit in the Q. Like I know everybody's like, oh, it's a doorway. But yeah, I think it's interesting that C is not
C,
necessarily.
you're on notice.
Yep,
Letter
C.
C.
I think Donald Trump should sign an EO about that Monday.
It's inefficient. Why do we need this whole extra letter when 25 will do?
Well, how about this? We keep the C and get rid of SEA and SEE. Like if we're all about efficiency, then we should just keep the we all know what it means.
I mean, we're kind of headed there, right? But really just going to be emojis pretty soon.
Yeah, look at C comes, but isn't in a lot of cultures too? This is so crazy, but isn't in a lot of cultures J's not like I and J
It's
are
a yeah.
interchangeable. It's just like the way people would have written. It's like they're the same letter.
The J is more like a Y. Yeah. Like a yeah sound, not a E. A yeah. Like
But they both have dots.
Yeshua. Yeah. Like my name, I actually for a Y, it's like a J instead of a Y.
Well, isn't it funny that they're like vowels? Like if you were making a sigil or something, you'd have to take the vowels out of it, and then a vowel to L, a vowel, and then they tell you A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y.
Mm-hmm. Why sometimes?
I don't know.
Well, how is that even a law?
But then Y is Y. Why?
Why?
Like it's like C being SEE. It's like you're doing a spell with something with Y. It's like a W being WV. And you're like, what the fuck is happening here?
Well, it's when you use it in a word like York. Like I believe when you use it in York or yay, like York is a better example that it's now it's a consonant, it's not a vowel.
Right. It's a vowel when it's used at the end of the word, pretty much, or in place.
Oh,
of
look at
Like
the
in
whole
play.
Caesar story
Try
plays out.
Play.
So Trump can play out the Caesar story and get stabbed in the back.
I mean,
in the
and it
mega
makes sense
opera.
too,
my
because
God.
the reasons that Caesar apparently got stabbed was because the rest of the politicians thought that people liked him too much. Like he had so much of the popular vote that they were worried that he was just gonna make the rest of them irrelevant, and that he was gonna try and like restore the Roman Empire and like bring back royalty. And I guess Trump saying stuff like "you'll never have to vote again," I can maybe understand. Maybe he's just like egging him on a little bit, though.
The best is yet to come.
Well, he
Fair
said the
enough.
Kennedy Center honors, like doing that, and him being the chairman of the board, and he's going to plan the Kennedy Center honors this year. So I'm like, what is about to go down? Like, I hope we get a whole bunch. I hope we get a Frank Sinatra hologram. Is Elvis going to be there? Like all the CIA agents that they killed their script off, they're like, they're not really dead. They were in Antarctica. Dun, 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 dun.
Have you guys seen that meme where somebody's posted like a picture of Khloe Kardashian right next to Elvis, and they look like the exact same person?
Who?
Khloe Kardashian and Elvis Presley.
Really?
Their faces look exactly the same. It's weird.
I'll look it up right now because I don't believe this.
You just go in and be like, "I'll have the Elvis."
You're like, Khloe Kardashian is all this.
Dude.
No, Khloe Kardashian is O.J. Simpson's daughter.
That, yeah, we know. But like now that I'm thinking about it,
This is
old
silly,
school,
but I'm gonna pull it up.
old school Khloe Kardashian, I could see it.
She looks just like O.J. Simpson's daughter, like his actual
does.
daughter.
tell me that's not really weird though. They do look very similar.
I don't know. I don't even know anymore. Like this realm is weird. I don't know. Maybe they have replica skin suits of us and we're just souls inhabit them. Maybe we're just jinn and we're just here like inhabiting soul bodies. I mean these bodies and just living.
Wouldn't you be so pissed if you're Chloe? They're like, "Do you guys think Kim Kardashian is Cleopatra?" And then
I wonder who I'm gonna get. Who's my doppelganger?
yeah,
Like Elvis.
yeah,
Oh, God,
your
put it
filters
in
in
her
your
head.
Elvis.
That's on that
Like,
show
you think she's
Evil. That was one
Marilyn,
thing that they
she-
had that was kind of cool. Like they did an episode where you could there was a website called like findmydoppelganger.com or something like that, and you like go on and you upload a picture of yourself, and then you'd find like somebody in the world that looked exactly like you.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, I wonder if that is a real website. I don't think it is, but
I've met people in real life that look enough like me that like I've made friends with people because they thought I look like somebody they knew. And I'm like, no, I just feel like I have a cutout lesbian out there in all your towns.
yeah.
Like one of them is just on TV dancing over a table hanging out at Epstein Island named Ellen.
It's like Highlander though. Like there can only be one in each town.
Yeah, it's like you can only have like one bleach blonde like dancing lesbian in Chucks. I don't know, but I just feel like there's a cutout like me, and I've met people that look just like I have friends that look enough like me that if somebody was like, "Oh, I thought you were," and I'm like, "No, it doesn't upset me." I'm like, "Yeah, I see it."
Oh hey,
My
how are you?
doppelganger
Can I
is
borrow 20 real quick?
the Muppet. It's
That
Carly the Muppet.
fucking shit, Abbie. It is not right, but now I have to pull it up, and it
What
is
Muppet?
so funny. I'm gonna show you, and you're gonna.
I don't
Carly
think I
Bear.
ever
It's
met
like
my
I always,
doppelganger.
every time I see it, I think that it looks like me. I'm like, oh my god.
and it is so
Oh, no.
funny. I know I have to find her. Okay. Whew. Good. But this isn't like the best. She's not in the best outfit right now. This outfit that they put her in this one is totally Red Fraggles outfit. It's not her outfit, but here's
No.
Abbie the Muppet.
Yep.
Okay, I can see it. I can totally see it.
Oh, that shit's
Wasn't she
fucking
in?
funny.
She was a musician, right?
Yeah. She's like in the band.
I don't think I have a doppelganger. I've never met mine, never seen mine. I don't see
No,
it.
you're very unique looking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, someone said there is a doppelganger site.
I gotta check it out. If there is one that looks like me out there, I'd love to meet him.
Anytime I do one of those weird filters that I know are just the CIA gathering my information for like the after like AI world.
Yeah.
Anytime I do one of those, it doesn't really know what to do with my face. Like sometimes it's just like, we'll make it masculine. And I'm like, oh, that is so insulting. And they'll give me like a really wide jaw and like a squared off nose. Or other times they'll make it like some striking picture that is so far away from. I'm like, I couldn't even just use a slight filter on it. It just, they always make me look so different than who I actually look like. It's like what it does to my nose sometimes. I'm like, whoa, like it wouldn't even be something I could pass and be like, I wonder if anyone will notice I have a filter on. Like, I feel like they all look like I have a filter, which I did see one of my guy friends go on and do a video, and for the first part of his video, he had like one of those beauty filters on. And I was watching the video thinking, bitch, does this bitch wearing makeup? What is this bitch? I was like judging the shit out of him. And then he was like, oh my gosh, the first part of that video had a filter on my face. And so then I was thinking that would be so funny, Thomas. You go on live, but you keep the like beautification filter on and you just act like you don't notice it.
It's like whenever Abbie does like a thumbs up or something in like the background, all like we get like balloons or whatever it is. I was on, I can't remember. I can't remember what I was on, like an interview or something. It might have been on Reality Czars, and someone was like going hard into like a very controversial topic. And as they were doing this, like little hearts like came up behind them because they didn't have that thing disabled. I don't know. I think it's kind of funny.
I do that. I keep mine on purpose because I like it.
Thank you.
I like when it
Y'all.
randomly shows up.
Super
Yeah,
chat,
thank you,
right?
Johnny.
I know it is. It's kind of an arc. It's like as seen on TV. It is. It's just I can't help it. That's why it's like my politics is what throws them off.
That's the
Oh.
best part, though. Like you can sneak up on almost anyone, and they would never see it coming.
I know it's like super spy stuff. It's great for being a handler. It's great for it. Not funny? Oh, what? Just kidding.
Be real.
All
Be
of you
real.
sat for a second. Oh, just kidding. Just kidding. What else is happening in the news? We've Gaza, we've Kanye'd.
Helicopter crash of some kind of helicopter somewhere recently. I don't know where exactly, honestly. I saw it.
I feel like
briefly.
planes are falling out of the sky or air travel problems every other second of the day now.
Yeah. And it used to be that they never happened. Remember, it was like safer to fly than.
I think it's tied to the fog. Okay, hear me out. My brother and I were just talking earlier. I was like, yo, this fog is so fucking weird. Like, it's not fog. It looks like smoke. He's like, I'm telling you, Layla, this morning I couldn't see shit on the fucking highway. Like, nothing. Lights, no lights. I mean, you could not see in front of you. Like, it was fucking insane. I've never seen anything like that. And on top of that, like, this car just shut down. Like, out of nowhere, just boom, broke down. I'm like, is it doing something? Like, is it causing like a glitch in fucking electronics or something? I don't know, because the way it is, it doesn't even smell like just air. It smells like smoke almost, like not even smoke, like burnt electricity. It just smells like something.
Does it smell like sulfur?
I don't know. Like, you ever smell like, I don't know how to explain it, man. All I can think of when I smell it is like burnt electricity, like it's something just like got shocked and you smell that burnt, like a burnt scent in the background.
Does it smell like match?
Almost.
Sulfur.
Yeah, almost.
That's what there's like isn't that one of the smells that they say about hell?
Well, and it's like an eggy smell too.
Yeah.
The one I smelled didn't smell eggy.
That I was just going to talk about this very next is those, you guys, I've seen some drone footage and some of it really looks like crazy shape-shifting orbs.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently if somebody caught the spinning angel, what is the seraphim with the wheels around it with the eye in the middle? Apparently they caught it on camera. I downloaded the video. I don't know if it's real or not, but apparently they are saying it's real. What if it's the angels? The people online. Whoever they are.
Yeah, because there's like fallen angels, but there's so many different kinds of angels.
Mm-hmm.
Like what you're saying is like a lot of the angels, like they're not all Cupid. They're not all like cute little, you know.
They're weird. Some of them are terrifying.
Crazy.
Yeah. Like you look at it, you're like,
Seraphim, archangels, there's a whole bunch. Yep.
Seraphim, Oraphim. There's like different levels to this shit.
Virtues, dominions.
Yeah.
I was talking to Top and Raven, and they brought up a really good point that if you were to call down an angel, or if like a human interacts with an angel somewhere, it would almost be like all of a sudden they like face new existence, because at some point, if they actually have to respond to you, but they're like covered in like demon blood and demon bits, and they're like, we're in the middle of doing some like hardcore angel stuff, and it's like you're interrupting them. Like anytime a human interfaces with an angel, like you've just walked in on them on their job and kind of like distracted them from what they're actually supposed to be doing.
That's why people who are doing magic and calling on the archangels and stuff, like they don't realize that they're messing
doing
with something that, it's really kind of above their
Look at how these things look, though, you guys.
You've seen the AI renditions of them?
This is the one Layla was talking about.
Yeah.
The seraphim that look like.
And then the
wheels around it.
cherubim, look at how, like, we have this idea of cherub, but look at that thing.
Imagine seeing that giant thing
That's
in
what's
front
on
of you.
the Ark of the Covenant, 2 cherubim.
And thrones
And like
looks
fire.
like the Star of David. Like that has all that, you know, or it would be spinning triangles inside. Like, I
Aren't
don't know.
angels made of fire?
Well,
Just like jinn?
No, well, they have their
They're like different types of fire?
they have a different kind of
Like flaming swords and stuff. Some of them have flaming swords, but I don't.
I
they're-
heard this
Oh.
thing that angels were of air, jinn were of fire, mermaids were of water, and we were of mud.
Oh,
Like we
that
were all
explains
elemental
really well.
creatures.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Isn't mud the combination of earth and water then, right?
But like I think it's like salt too. Like we're earth. Yeah, we're just earth, but we're a like mud man.
You are the salt of the earth. That's
I
a,
learned one of those phrases is Gore. I learned that because I was reading a book this week with Juan on alchemy, and it's different than dirt. It's different than just earth, but it represents in these alchemical traditions the salt of the earth, like the literal salt of the earth. But you would get it from collecting like 200 gallons of rainwater during a lightning storm, and that when it's electrically charged a certain way, you can store it and you stick it away for like a month or something, and it ferments, and whatever is in this rainwater, it turns into like a mass, like almost like a mold of some kind, and then you can skim that off the top, and that's gur, and that is what you can use to create like spontaneous life from. And there, it was interesting too because the book went on to show that there were like accepted by conventional science, if you reproduce the environment in like pre-Earth, that if it was high in nitrogen during a like an electron storm, during like an actual lightning storm, it can produce amino acids, and that's actually one of the right now the accepted conventional precursors to all life, is that there was a lightning storm during a high nitrogen environment that creates amino acids, and then if you believe in evolution, that's an actual accepted version. But here you've got the alchemical version, which is that it just creates life instantly, and you can kind of like grow that almost like they're sea monkeys.
Well, according to Islam and Islamic tradition, angels are depicted as being created from incorporeal light, nur, or fire, nar. And what else? Yeah, that's it. So light or fire. So it kind of makes sense how they say that when you look at certain stars or planets, the lights, that they could be angels, and we're not aware that these stars are angels. They're watchers. That's all I'm saying. Doing their duties, their virtues, dominions, whatever you want to call them. So they could be the stars. I'm just saying, if you want to think of it like biblical or like in the religious sense, even though I don't believe it.
Well,
But
if
it
it
kind
was
of
like
makes sense to me.
religious too, the bio, like it says, don't follow the wandering stars, which would be the planets. And those are all the lowercase gods that we keep hearing about all over, where they're like, here's your horoscope, and here's the energy on this, and here's the god of this, and here's the deity of this. Whereas the angels are all, it says like, you know, they're all the titans almost. They're all the constellations, the constants.
Yeah. Wild.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they are like a whole bunch of suns either. Like that picture from the telescope, that thing to me is like,
I think there are more than one suns. I think there are 5 suns, and they go through their portals, and a new one comes out. Because if you look at because I have this guy that I follow on Facebook, and he takes pictures of the sun every day with his telescope, non like CGI shit. It's like a pure telescope, and he takes pictures of these so-called sunspots, and some of them are very repetitive. So it only makes me believe that I think that we have different suns that come into play through the different portals at different times. If we're thinking like flat Earth and how we have portals in this realm, and the sun goes somewhere and comes back, or
doesn't
goes
the
somewhere and
sun
comes back.
rotate?
Yeah, yeah. But there's this whole like idea in this ancient philosophy that there were five suns that go through portals. I have to look into it and post it on my Instagram, which I will because it's very fascinating. Yeah.
Well, our friend Summer
Hmm.
likes to take pictures with her magic iPhones of the sun, and she says the sun has changed. She's actually blown up a lot of the cameras on her magic iPhones taking pictures of the sun, but like in some of the pictures you see it like it looks more like diamond shape.
I got an egg-shaped one once before. Not even like a full circle, is like literally like an egg shape.
And I think most phones now have more than one camera on the back.
Yeah.
And so when too much light's coming in, it comes in through both
Just
sources and both cameras. Like there's a lot of reasons that I think some of the like even like people are like, oh, look at the blue orb in the picture. Oh, like there's certain you like
Yeah,
on the back of
there's
your camera, you have all this stuff
hitting the
going
light.
on now.
Yeah, hitting the
So
light.
I don't know, like even people where they're like, I have two suns in a picture. I'm like, well, you have two cameras on the back of your phone.
When they had like 7 suns and stuff like that, like, oh, look at this weird
Oh yeah,
anomaly.
you see,
It's your
even in
picture.
Aztecs myths from the five sun theory is a creation myth from the Aztecs and other Nahu cultures that describe the world's five cycles of creation and destruction. We have that in our culture. That's why I brought it up. Like my mom was talking about it the other day, actually. Like, yeah, we used to talk about like how we were younger. There was 5 deals, like 5 suns, and they had their own like times when they come into play in certain times of the year or whatever, or ages or however she described it. But yeah.
Maybe it was like seasons, like how sometimes it's the sun's far away and like a cold sun, and sometimes it feels like it's burning, like hot sitting on you, like depending on how close you are to the equator. And I know like a lot of the Mexicans would be really close to the equator.
I assume that means multiple sun gods too, right? If you got 5 suns, you'd have to have 5 sun gods.
Yeah. They each need their own deity for sure.
God, that sounds a lot of work. It's a lot of sacrifices.
Yeah, for the Aztecs especially.
Yeah, and like is one sun better for you?
Yeah, you're
And
like,
then
damn,
one
I just sacrificed my kid, but
One causes
I put in the
skin
wrong
cancer.
like Bitcoin address or whatever. Like I sent it to the wrong sun god. I didn't realize that sun god was already out of here.
because then there's like the philosophy of like in the different sun philosophy of the light of our sun isn't the light we used to be under at all. And
Mhm.
so it's like different ages of different like the
Right.
sun changes like hue almost, which would change everything on Earth.
Yeah.
And so some people are like,
Well,
Like they
that's
talk
like
about the
the whole
silica
NASA
era.
theory too, though, right? Like red giant and yellow dwarf and all that stuff.
yeah, that does feed into where it's like, oh, the sun goes through these,
Yeah,
turns
things
into a
like
white
that.
nova and blah blah
Eventually it'll
blah.
be a black hole.
Yeah,
But we're talking
they're
like within the last 20, 30 years, people usually say that it's gone from like yellow to white, or that it's gone from
Yeah.
yellow to orange, or I've heard a number of different takes on this.
Oh. Wasn't it the 5 plaques that they found in the Aztec culture with the weird face in the middle and then the things around it? And they found 5 of them also.
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about.
Aztec
Yeah, I
calendar.
have it on my wall.
Yeah, the Aztec calendar. But apparently that's not really a calendar. Like it's a whole representation of a story that needs to be told through that. And the center of it is actually Earth. And it's not like the sun or anything, but it's actually Earth and it's its own entity and being. And all around is like some celestial story about how Earth was created and what's to happen on Earth, and like a whole story of these
But
five
then it's
different plaques.
interesting too if you add the whole 3-body problem idea that once you put a third anything into the equation, then it's you can't, the mathematical possibilities are like we can't even calculate it because the third body could do anything.
Yeah, it
And so then-
represents like an infinite number of variables, essentially.
Yeah. So then even like 5 suns to be around for 5 ages of 5 suns. unless they were like more frequent that they
That's
were
why I
like,
think we should blow up the moon. I think we should only worry about the sun. We shouldn't even have to worry about the moon.
that's what Howard Stern, like 2 things that he would always say is we should kill all the sharks and blow up the moon.
Hell yeah.
And so I always
That's-
just thought you
I
guys are doing
believe
shit.
the moon part, maybe not the sharks part.
I'm surprised. My biggest tell on we've never been to the moon is that there isn't advertising on it.
Yeah. Right. Like
Well, they do
Coca-Cola.
claim that they have reflectors on the moon, and that's actually one of the most like biggest examples of humans either being there at some point. Although I think one of the fun ways to poke at that is I've heard people say like, but how do you prove it where the astronauts have put them there? Like anyone could have put the reflectors on the moon, and it didn't have to either be astronauts, and also could have happened way long before our lifetimes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
What do you say to the documents that scientific documents that NASA posts about how this plane is a plane, in fact, and it doesn't rotate and it's flat? This is actual documents from NASA stating this, like this plane and what it is, and it doesn't rotate, non-rotational, blah blah blah. It describes the whole like gist of it. So I just wonder what people like. What should we believe that NASA produces? Because on one hand, they're saying it's a flat, non-rotational plane, and then they feed us all these CGI images of like, oh look, we've been here. So what should we believe that NASA produces out there? Or should
I
we
don't think
just
we should ever believe NASA because they've wasted so much money that now they just got to
Yeah.
make stuff up forever in order to justify all the money that they've spent.
Yeah, they produce movies.
Unless we're on our way to them having to justify some of that stuff. Like if we're releasing all these documents, if we have to have certain people, like confirmation hearings have to happen because C has to happen before D. So you have to have all the people in the right places, and like the FBI and like the CIA. The CIA is gone. I don't think it fucking matters what they say. And I think it's funny that you're having the CIA say a certain level of stuff right now, even like certain buyouts, because I'm wondering if the CIA has to give all of their CIA agents buyout packages, and the CIA agents take these. How are they going to get paid in these said buyout packages? And then will that be released on all of the Dodge? Where it's like these people won't be able to walk the streets is because they're all going to be a bunch of outed agents? I don't know. It just seems like if they've been doing shady shit, then maybe your crimes are going to be known. Well, like what is top secret? Like what's worth you getting to keep classified? If the old thing was as long as you're alive, we're going to keep it classified. What about if the new world's not that way? Like, what about if we get to know? So I just feel like in the revelation of it all, like keep the information coming. I like all the D class. And it seems like not as redacted as everything that everyone thought it was going to be. So I don't know. It should be an interesting week.
There's a subreddit called Intelligence, and it's basically a whole bunch. And there's another one called Fed Files, I think. FEDFILES. I think those are the two ones. But right now, if you read through some of them, they are kind of scrambling because even the ones that are being offered these like buyouts, no one seems to believe it. They all feel that it's going to be a rug pull, that they like sign and they take all the stuff home from their desk and all of that, and like they just sit home and they're waiting for that check to come. And a lot of them expect to just get a letter from Donald Trump that's like, like you took the cheese and now we don't have to pay you.
Like for the Trump coin?
For the buyout, like these CIA buyouts and the FBI buyouts and all the federal agents that are being offered. I don't know if this is what one of the plans
this
that
is one
got,
of it. Yeah.
But it would basically be like a rug pull, like a Donald Trump coin rug pull, except in this one, you don't even get any of the money that you were promised. And that's sort of like the conspiracy fear within like the actual federal agencies. They've got this conspiracy that they're kind of like building up, but also at the same time, they're like, well, I'm not gonna take this buyout. I'm gonna ride this thing out. I'm gonna spend every last dollar. I'm gonna, malicious compliance, which in itself is kind of funny because they're kind of proving like they're proving the reason why this needs to happen is because there's so many people at these levels that are willing to just drag their feet and just spend money all day long because that's all they've ever known.
I think it's so funny. What about if they paid all the CIA out in Trump coin? It's just so
Melania coin.
yeah, exactly. Like, oh,
I want to
they
buy
just-
Melania's book. Melania. I just want to. I want
Melania.
to see what she has to say, if they are her words, but they should be her words.
Oh my gosh,
It's
are
very
we going to do
interesting.
another
It's
book
all-
club?
We should, I think, because
We
it's all
Brittany book
black
club.
book with white letters, nothing else on it. It's very plain, no
Let's look up
pictures.
I think
Melania.
my mom, last time I went to see my mom, she was reading the Melania book.
Oh my gosh, maybe I'm gonna buy my mom the Melania book. And
From what I heard from her, it sounded like a large portion of the book where things that Donald gets criticized for relentlessly, and it was her sort of explaining where her line in the sand was, where it's like everything that you hate, Donald Trump about, like I actually have different opinions and different stances on like a whole list of issues.
so it's not about Melania at all.
I don't know. Well, that was the part that she was in, and it just felt like it was one of those things like, okay, step away from me.
And 84% positive. Oh, there's only 33 ratings on this. Is
How
Books
many?
a Million.
How
33.
many ratings?
Yep. Now you guys are all third degree. But that is a sexy. I like this look of black on white. That's so Masonic. Sexy.
It's just strange, just black and white, clean. What's up, Melania?
I wonder if she reads her book.
Probably. She seems like an intelligent woman.
She can speak 9 languages.
Yeah. She's an intelligent woman. I mean, look at Barron. Like, God bless. Like, he's just a motherfucking G. That's all I could say.
Dude, the pressure is
Trump.
on, man. Like he can't, like he's got the world at his fingertips, but also like he's under every microscope on in the country at this point. There's probably entire rooms of people right now analyzing just everything that he's done over the last 5 days to see if they can catch him on something.
Little Baron Trump and his underground marvelous adventures.
I went like thrifting and antique shopping this week, and I got a vintage t-shirt, and I like saw it on a rack in like the middle of this place, and I'm like, yes, I'm gonna buy it. And it's the Sword in the Stone, which is one of the things I'm like obsessed with. I bring it up all the time, but I forgot the Camelot of the Kennedys too. And how when you brought up Barron, there's something about Barron that like with the Trump family gives this Camelot air of like King Arthur's court. Like something feels like a whole different vibe in the way that they used to compare all the Kennedys.
Kingdoms joining. Like, I think you brought it up, like the whole, what are those, the Russian family?
The Romanovs.
Yeah, them with like you just said, the King Arthur's, that bloodline, or the blood of Christ, or the blood of Mary. We don't fucking know what's happening. It could be something major, and it's just like happening right in front of our face, and we don't even fucking know it. Kingdoms joining, like peace coming to earth, and like let's not. I don't know. I'm hoping for that time.
Like if it's biblical and it's not the apocalypse, like they're trying to convince us, it's a flood of information. But what else could be in the Bible that would be crazy? Like motherfuckers, giants are real.
Okay.
Like aliens aren't biblical.
Maybe they are. Maybe they are.
I mean, angels, you were just showing those pictures of angels.
Yeah.
A couple of them look like UFOs.
No.
Yeah, angels.
Angles.
Is there any religions that say the angels come and visit without like us, like maybe they're just dropping off a message, or is it like uh-oh?
I think the Raelians, which is also, that was funny enough, Raelians is what got Kanye kicked off of Twitter the first time, was he posted the Raelian sort of
Flag.
symbol.
Yeah.
That's one of the examples that I think that they can just kind of like come by every once in a while and like give us some some pro tips, and then they bounce again, and they check back in on us to see if we've like gotten any smarter, and we haven't.
Railing.
Huh, so maybe they're gonna check back on us and we've like made the leap this time. Like, what about if we have a checklist that we have to reach and like
Well, this is what this is what the Star Trek Prime Directive is about. That in Star Trek, they are non-interventionists, meaning that they're not allowed to come to a planet until that planet has figured out for themselves how to build their own starship, so they could potentially like explore space, and that like that's basically the barrier for entrance. So if Star Trek were the aliens, then they're waiting for us to get smart enough to like bring ourselves to their level. And then once you get out there, they're like, "Hey, welcome to the club. We've been rooting for you. We've been waiting. Like, you're a little late."
it's almost like the most amount of next level Mason. Like if you are really 47th degree, you find the space elevator, and they're like, "We knew you'd find it." Like, but you had to do it yourself. Otherwise, you weren't even smart enough to play chess with us out here.
Is that
like,
47 again?
You guys were so racist. Like you guys were worried about skin color and language, and there's people out here with like 4 heads.
Right.
Like there's people out here with crab hands. Every time we try to introduce a carny to you guys, you go freak show. Like you got to get used to it.
Or they got like chameleon like genitalia, so it's like depending on how they're feeling or like what they're hiding from or what they're getting into that day, they can just, so it's like they're waiting for us to evolve far enough that it's not a big deal.
They're like and then they're like, we have to scare you away from it, obviously, like it's Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Like we're gonna tell you all the things that are wrong and all the things that are dangerous and all that, but we'll be back and we're gonna look just like what everyone tells you Satan looks like. Like that's where Layla and I, where we were like, it's childhood's end.
Oh, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Go watch it. If you haven't read the book, go read it.
What is it? Childhood's End? That
Yeah.
sounds so familiar.
Dude, oh my God, you need to watch it. If you haven't watched it, just fucking watch it.
It's like a TV show, right?
It's like a 3-part TV series that are 2 hours long each part. So it's like 3 different parts. And it's so good. It's worth it, guys. Just fucking, I went through a roller coaster of emotions watching this fucking thing. Like just imagining I'm in that and like kind of learning from, oh my God, it just fucking.
That's what the aliens, they get like peaceful aliens that come to Earth and like bring peace
so
upon
screwed.
Earth.
They would
That's
be
what-
so screwed.
Yeah, they cure the world. Everyone's living
all
longer.
the sickness. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's just living the golden timeline.
They just happen to look like the devil. They look like that guy in Legend. I remember
Yeah,
the
they're
movie
like,
Legend.
I just
don't
did
be
that.
scared. His name's Krillin.
Yeah, Krillin, and he walks out with just like the Baphomet, with a girl and a boy on each side coming out of that huge fucking spaceship, and everyone's like, they're watching TVs like fucking, oh my God, and they're looking at each other, and then they all start to cheer like, ah! I'm like, really? Like, really? If I saw that shit coming out after all the shit that I knew, well, they probably like were brainwashed after years and years and years. Look at that shit. Look at that shit.
This also looks like the demons in the Evil show that Abbie was talking about earlier.
Well, they threw some real juicy like tidbits in there, especially the girl who was actually really religious and a believer of Jesus and Christianity and all that. She carried a cross, and for some reason, in one part of the fucking show, like you can see like him with his powers that he has as this alien being. He takes the cross off of her chest and like bends it, and it's thrown to the floor. And I'm just like, yo, what the fuck does that mean right there? Like, is this like spiritual, or is this alien, or is it both? Like, do we have something twisted here that we are like being played? Like, what's going on? It made me ask so many
Well, isn't
fucking
that kind of
questions.
interesting though? If aliens could come, like let's say it like we'd never accept demons because even if people don't believe in religion at all, they're like, I don't believe in anything good about religion. If they start seeing the bad stuff about religion, like even notice everybody in even the conspiracy realm, people that aren't Christians at all or don't have any faith based, they were so quick to call it an antichrist when they saw one.
Yeah.
So I just think in that exact way, it's like if you're doing some shit, like if you're doing some demon shit, even people that don't believe in God will be like, this motherfucker doing some demon shit right here. But if
Yeah.
you disguise it as alien shit, would we let it go? And that is the like could be the ultimate brainwashing. We never
Yeah.
accept the demons. Every time they try to get us to worship them and accept them, and they like now we're like 100 monkeys. We know too much, so they had to like redisguise themselves this time and come down as this whole blue beam to
Alien.
get us to accept aliens.
If they
Yeah,
were
Yeah.
smart, they'd
Oh,
come
they're
back
not
as
from
like
the
puppies.
sky, but they live in the ocean. They
talking
live in the
cats.
deep.
It'd be so easy.
What is the abyss? Hell. Dante's Inferno. It's cold. It's this. It's that. I don't know. That makes more sense to me, Chaney. What you're saying.
Well, something does even when people say like the blue beam is a false, we're going to pull everyone up to heaven, like, type what is that called? A rapture, a false
Yeah, rapture.
rapture. And everyone's like, no, I'd know. And I'm like, but would you? Because if you, let's say you just looked over in the far and looked in the far and you just saw blue lines, and then the TV is like, we think the rapture happened. Like you'd be like, because everybody out there done know. Everybody out there, every single one of you done know. If the rapture came and you weren't taken, you would be like, you could think of something that you'd be like, I'm a
We're
dirty
going to Busch
babe.
Gardens. There's no more lines. We're doing it right now.
like everyone
like
would
the way it
immediately feel guilt. It's like you would
Thomas
just be
went
like,
straight to like, no, we ain't worried about that.
and especially if it happened outside your door. And then when you turned on your TV, they were like, we're at the Super Bowl right now, and the rapture just happened. And
Like,
they
bye.
show you like CGI and Taylor Swift. we're like,
Have fun. That ain't
if
gonna
you don't get
happen.
to, and then if you don't get taken in the rapture, then you're like, just take me to Mars. Fuck it.
I don't want to say it can't happen because I don't want to limit God and God's power, because who am I to limit God, but the creator. But I don't see that happening.
Do you think that the whole time Elon's been calling to go to Mars, he's secretly been calling to go to war?
To go to war?
Yeah.
see that.
If Mars is the planet of war and it's all comms that they no longer can hide their comms from each other, so they have to talk in code in plain sight, and they have to use their social media accounts to do these like coded messages. I don't know. It
I
just
don't know.
seems like Elon always with the Mars, like we're going to get humans to Mars. We're going to make them interplanetary, unless that's what Thomas is saying is like, you guys don't understand. Once we get to Mars, they'll come. Like if you build it, they'll come.
Sure.
Well,
It
if
looks
you
so.
believe in space, right? But if you believe in space, then Mars, the most significance I understand from Mars is that it would be the perfect place to have a refueling station. That's like the Wawa. So if we can get to Mars, then we can set up a Wawa on Mars, and then that potentially means that you could use that to like leapfrog elsewhere. But I don't even know if that's even like lifetime thing. Again,
What's-
if you believe in space.
But
What's
see,
his
isn't
quote?
that goes back to the whole moon isn't real, right? Because there is no Wawa on the moon.
Didn't he have a quote, Elon Musk, that he said it looks so fake that it has to be real or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
About the Tesla car.
Yeah. And,
But I also
in
think it's
space.
interesting if you look at all these old pyramids and stuff like you were talking about in Mexico and in South America, a lot of them look like they have landing pads, like
yeah.
stuff set up like they're meant. Or even look at those you guys will know those figures on the ground that are all over. Maybe
Nazca lines.
yeah, like all over. Like, who are those for?
Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. What if they're trying to like blow up Mars?
I thought that was about to be a dirty limerick.
I'm just saying, there's all this hype about Mars, Mars, Mars. What about Venus? But they said it's like, oh, it's uninhabitable. But why is it uninhabitable? Why you guys say that? Probably it's not.
There's just probably a tiny little landing pad, and it's like everybody theorizes: is it real? Is it not real?
Yeah, they give us all these like, oh, it's a gas planet, it's a lava planet, it's this, it's that. And I'm like, but you haven't been there. You haven't been there. Mars. Mars was recorded where again? Iceland? Right?
I don't know. I've seen stuff though where it also like people have taken like rock structures in like South Dakota and they've matched it up with structures that they've shown on Mars.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Man, Greenland, Iceland, one of those places as well.
And the Apollo missions, the same thing. They've found places, I think, in like New Mexico that line up almost like rock for rock.
I just think the camera on the moon, like the camera on the moon, how did it get there? The camera on the moon, how did they get the film? Was it all just remote control? Okay, cool. Like they just shot it there ahead of time and then it filmed them. But it didn't blow over. There's no dust. Like it didn't take any time. It's less gravity than we have. So wouldn't it take a while for the dust to even settle? If it's less gravity, it's dust. So the whole entire atmosphere should have just been dusty. It shouldn't have been like cake. Like, I don't know.
Like
there's even my Lego brain is like, there's part in this that's just
not math.
And like you were talking about with the sun, I could go with 5 suns. I could philosophize about 3 suns, different color suns, even a rotating sun, like even a sun that actually turns and it's a big ball that has different spots but the moon, why hasn't it turned? And I still can't, like, nothing about my Lego brain is like every single planet is doing its thing. Abbie.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah, we can cut it out.
Yeah, in a little bit.
I feel bad.
It's okay. You guys, blame Abbie that we're gonna get off right now.
Boo.
Nobody's got more calories and I'm tired.
No, I feel you, girl. So am I.
It's
Had a date
okay.
today.
It's almost 3 a.m. But do you guys have anything going on this week?
We'll see what tomorrow holds, and then I'll know if I have something to do Monday or not, or this week.
Well, I'm back in action. I'm posting new content on YouTube and Patreon and all of the places. I've finally getting back into the swing of stuff. So actually the one that came out this week was on Salvia Divinorum, and my mom called me this morning and was very disappointed in me. But I mean, because I was telling stories from like when I was like 14 or 15, and she was like, "Is this true?"
That's hilarious.
No, I was just thinking about that. Can you retroactively punish your children for something they did? Like,
you wanted to? Yeah, I could.
Your adult children for something they did when they were 10.
Guilt
like
and
my
shame.
daughter pulled up this video on her Snapchat story, and it's my son who is 10 now, like when he was like 3, and she's having him say it again, and he's like, vagina. And I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Like, you're horrible.
I'm sure there was part of her that wanted to ground me immediately.
I know. She wanted to beat your ass.
I'm like, I'm 42.
Don't matter.
So you didn't do Sylvia on air?
No. I mean, if I wasn't in Florida, 100% I would, but I don't want to risk my freedom over something stupid. Like if I was in Vegas or I think Georgia, it's even legal. I mean, that's totally a Rumble live stream.
Okay, then maybe on one of our trips, you'll have to do that, and we'll record you. I'll record you, like, you know how they take those plexiglass things and they put them around the lions.
I'm doing it too.
I'll be inside the plexiglass thing because I'm not doing it, but I'm so nervous to be around a human who is on it.
Be perfectly quiet is what it sounded like.
I've seen people, I feel like, jump through windows. Like, that was all the videos I used to watch was people just do I think it was salvia, and they would be like, "Ah!" and they'd, like, run out of the room, and they were like, "We gotta go catch him!" Like, I've seen so many crazy videos, like, if you're gonna lose your mind as a human that you look like, "That person's on PCP," it's like salvia
Yep.
I've
or
absolutely seen
PCP.
someone do that in real life, even before YouTube was even a thing. I saw him like run out of my apartment screaming. And it was like 2 a.m. or something. So we had to go and like get this guy. He was legitimately gonna jump off of a balcony because he was in a different planet. He wasn't even here anymore.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah, it does seem like that one. Anyways, we have almost 300 people that hung out with us until now. So thank you so much. We love you. And we will be back for sure next Friday, probably Sunday if everything goes well. And we hope you guys have a great weekend and have fun at your
Love
Super
ya.
Bowl parties if
Girl,
you do
bye.
that sort of thing.
By the way, Thomas, when you said you had new stuff, I thought you were, or you've been posting new stuff. I thought you were saying posting nudes. I was like, oh, really?
On the Patreon. You gotta go to Patreon.
You got to go to
All right.
Patreon.
Sign
Am
me up.
I a patron? Here's another thing too. I have to figure out. I tried to become a member of your channel and I could not find the button anywhere, but it said I had to be a member of your channel to see the episode that we did with the Real Housewives. And Jules was like, I want to watch it. I want to see if you talked about the Real Housewives. And I'm like, oh, I can't watch it, but I just have to find the
Well,
button.
I can send you a link too. I can just send you a link to it.
Special link. Okay, cool. Perfect.
Nice.
Nice.
And will it ever be out, or we talked about too much
Yeah.
about
So
it?
I've gonna have them coming out every Monday like clockwork. Every single Monday there's gonna be one. I've already got them. I've been like getting my backlog nice and healthy. It's like it goes into April at this point. But yours comes out I think in 2 weeks.
Okay, yay. Perfect. But I don't mind joining your channel either. I'm like, I can't figure out how to use YouTube.
It's a great place. It's awesome.
Joining your channel, see everyone?
Patreon is the best place ever. Yeah.
Oh, then I should just go over to the Patreon. It's there too. I don't even have to join the YouTube channel.
Correct.
I can join
Yeah,
the
I put
Patreon.
them everywhere. So if you want to join the YouTube or you want to join the Patreon, like it's all in the same spot, and then eventually it'll come out for free. Anyways, there's no gatekeeping here.
Okay, perfect. I don't mind Patreon as an
Awesome.
app. It's nice for videos and stuff. So perfect. Well, I love you guys. We will see you soon, and make sure you turn down your volume because Juliette Lewis is a little loud. Okay, XOXO Gossip Girl. Bye.
Good night.
Can you save us, Britney Spears? Can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
Here comes Sinatra. Here comes the world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunning linguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, makings, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys. The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunning linguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, makings, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys.
You're still here? It's over.